On today's special episode of Homeworthy, we're taking you inside 4 stunning homes, each bursting with personality and eclectic charm. First, we head to Atlanta to explore a bold and beautiful townhome where modern design meets cozy textures, meaningful artwork, and striking sculptural elements. Next, we travel to Philadelphia for a tour of a globally inspired home layered with vintage and antique treasures, a calming neutral palette with bold accents, and sweeping views of the city skyline. Then, we'll step inside a fully renovated home in New York that's as practical as it is elegant, filled with vibrant color, clever design solutions, and a seamless mix of function and flair. Finally, we wrap up in Nashville with a joyful, creative home brimming with one-of-a-kind finds, DIY art, and personal touches in every corner. You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. If you're looking to make your own space more homeworthy, we've teamed up with Cherish, our go-to online destination for chic, one-of-a-kind finds, sourced from the world's most wonderful vendors.
Mercury drops are from an artist I found on Cherish.
Whether we're after a bold statement piece or the perfect finishing touch, Cherish has extraordinary items that leave a lasting impression.
This table I bought on Cherish from Berlin, and it has a little bit of it's a tray, and it is mid-century, and it's one of my favorite pieces.
It's where we find iconic looks to set homes apart.
I think many dealers would agree that Cherish is the absolute best.
So to support Homeworthy and discover amazing items from Cherish, scan the QR code or click on the link below to start shopping.
Hi Homeworthy, I'm Patrice. Welcome to my townhome in Atlanta. Come on in, glad you guys are here.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I am Patrice Alexander. I am a content creator. Welcome to my home in Atlanta. So I purchased this home in 2018. At the time, I was in the market for something newer. I wanted something modern and contemporary. I wanted to find something that was low maintenance. And when I found this home, it checked all those boxes. It was absolutely perfect. So when I decorate, I don't necessarily, be honest with you, have a theme in mind. I just surround myself with things that I absolutely love. So welcome you guys to my den. This actually is the most recent room that I designed. So what I decided to do is just kind of pull some things that I had in other parts of the house. We can start with this console. This console actually was upstairs in my living room, and I thought it worked really, really well down here based on the theme that I was going for. And what I love about this console is that I love this scallop look, and I love the color of the wood. And then here I just have some images of my family. And then this lamp, I love this lamp. This lamp I found at I think Home Goods or maybe TJ Maxx. It was really budget friendly. I think I might have paid maybe $15 or something like that for this lamp. And I love this lamp. And these statues, so a friend of mine that's an interior designer, she had these statues and she was actually downsizing. So she called me and asked me if I wanted them, and I said yes immediately. I think they're absolutely beautiful and they work really well in the space as well. And then if we move here, let's take a look at this beautiful artwork. So this first piece was gifted to me by a very dear friend of mine. He's a local artist here in Atlanta. His name is Maurice Evans. This is actually a reproduction, and he gifted this to me as a housewarming present in my last home. But what I love about this piece is I love how he represented the young lady's hair. That is actually a baobab tree that grows, I think it only grows in Africa. I'm not sure which part of Africa, but I really love that piece. And then if we move over here, these two images are by a artist by the name of Michelle Robinson. I think she's actually a Korean artist. And I found her on Instagram. And I reached out to her and she sent these to me. But what I love about these images is how she depicts the women. They're different sizes, different, they're different shapes. And I love how she depicted their hair. And then here, this fabulous piece is by an artist by the name of Woodrow Nash. If you don't know who Woodrow Nash is, please Google him because he is a phenomenal sculptor. I think he's out of Akron, Ohio. And what I love about this piece is, first of all, it's black and white. I've always been just attracted to things. I dress in black and white a lot. A lot of things in my home were black and white. All my frames are black and white. So I was immediately drawn to this. And what I like about this most is it kind of reminds me of my grandmother. My grandmother used to wear hair like this. It was braided like this, and she wore it in a top knot just like this. The one thing I love about this piece, again, is that he makes everything. Like he makes these earrings, and he makes the jewelry as well. A lot of people think that this is my jewelry, but this is actually fabricated by the artist, Woodrow Nash. And then, let's talk about these pillows. So I wanted to mention how I kind of came up with the concept for this room. And like I said, I kind of moved some things around from the other parts of the house to kind of decorate this room. So I had these pillows already, and I had this rug. This rug was in my closet upstairs, and this pillow used to be on my couch upstairs. So these two things kind of informed the direction that I was going to go with this room. So this pillow and then this pillow I love as well. It has beautiful colors. And I love the Asian theme in this pillow. And if you take a close look at this pillow, all of the colors in this pillow, you can see them throughout the room. Oh, and this couch, one thing I want to mention, I love this couch because you can kind of change the look of it if you want. These cushions actually move. So if you remove this cushion, it gives the couch a completely different look. Like if you need more back support. I never move the cushion because I like the way it looks when it's up higher. But that's one of the reasons why I bought it, because you can change the look of the couch if you wanted to. And then over here, this painting is my most recent purchase. I bought this painting at my last trip at Art Basel this past December. The name of the artist is Olympia Edwards, and I purchased it from the Richard Beaver's gallery. He's in Brooklyn, I think. So this piece actually is a diptyque. And a diptyque is when the artist creates their image on either two canvases or two panels or whatever the medium is. And so this piece is actually 3 girls. So on this panel is 2 girls, obviously, and then the other panel is upstairs in my living room. And so I purchased it because it reminds me of my sisters. So this kind of represents my 2 sisters. I love the way that she created their hair, how she designed their hair, because that reminds me of how my sisters and I used to wear our hair when we were little kids. Also, the collage dresses. When we were kids, we weren't allowed to wear pants at all. We had to wear dresses every day. So this piece is a great representation of me and my sisters. So this side table actually was a part of my outdoor furniture. And I was getting bored with it, and I was actually going to sell it on Facebook Marketplace or give it away or something like that. But for some reason, I held on to it, and it was in my garage. So when I decided to decorate this room, I thought that it worked really, really well with the rest of the theme that I had in the house. So this table, again, a CB2 purchase. I love this beautiful marble table. I was watching this for a while online, but when I went in the store, they actually had it on floor sample sale. So I grabbed it immediately, and I think again it works really well with the theme that I have. And then here I just have some coffee table books. I feel like coffee table books are a great way to, you can use them, of course, as forms of inspiration, but it's a great way to just add some interest and decorate your space. And then here I have this beautiful box. This is actually a box that has chocolate in it. I think this one still has some chocolate in it. But after I eat the chocolate, I'm going to keep the box because I use them again for storage. And I love this brand, this particular brand, Louis Sherry, because they really decorate the boxes really, really nice. And then if you open the box, you know, it's designed in the interior as well. So I use these quite a bit to just store, you know, I'll store my readers or, you know, different things. So that's another great way to decorate your space. My sense of style is, and the way I decorate and the way I dress would be considered eclectic. Even though my home is modern and contemporary, I wanted to mix it up a little bit and decorate it in an eclectic style. So when people come into my home, they're really going to get a sense of who I am. In my home, I have a lot of artwork, and I'm very particular about the things that I put in my home. I pay a lot of attention to detail. So when you walk into my home, you'll get a really great sense of the things that I like and who I am as a person. So if you follow me, we can go into my entryway. Come this way. So let's talk about this beautiful bench. So I purchased this bench from CB2 as well. And what attracted me to this bench was these hooves, these claw feet on the bench. And when I originally purchased it, the bench was, it had a different fabric. It was an off-white cream color fabric, and I didn't think that it really did the bench any justice. So I partnered with this phenomenal design firm here in Atlanta, Forbes and Masters, and they suggested that they presented this fabric to me to see if I liked it, and I fell in love with it immediately because for a few reasons. Number one, I love velvet. Number two, it's my favorite color, green. So I thought this particular fabric really enhanced the bench, and I feel like it's a great introduction to the rest of the house. It kind of informs you on, you know, my style and what you're going to see in the rest of the house. And then here, this is actually a planter that I purchased from Home Goods, and I wanted kind of an artful way to display slippers that I present to my guests when they come in. We're generally a shoeless house, so I always offer slippers or some socks or something like that my guests can wear, and they can take them with them when they leave. So I wanted to, you know, make it kind of playful and, you know, as well as artful, just so that the slippers are not just lying around. So I thought this was a really cute way to display the slippers. And then here, this piece, I purchased this from an antique store. And what I love about this piece is, number one, she looks a lot like my baby girl, but I love the way the artist styled her hair. I love how striking that her eyes are, her full lips. And she just has a sense of, she looks like a leader. She looks quite determined. And that really, to me, describes my daughter, you know, to a T. So that's how I felt when I saw it, and I had to get it immediately. So if you're ready, we could go upstairs to the living room. Follow me. Welcome to my living room. When I was trying to come up with concepts for this living room, I wanted something that felt Parisian. I wanted it to feel sophisticated but understated. So that's kind of the direction that we took with this living room. This room has changed quite a bit. Initially, with this couch, the couch was one piece, but I decided that because we entertain so much, I decided that it looked a little bit better and it felt a little bit better as far as entertaining, that the pieces be separate. So I really liked the way we've positioned the couches. Next to this couch, we have this beautiful vintage table. And like I said before, I tend to decorate a lot with coffee table books and boxes. As we go through the house, you'll see that I love orchids. I have orchids pretty much on every floor. And then if we move over here to the other part of the diptyque that I spoke about earlier, this is the second panel to that diptyque. And again, like I said, I love this artist. I love her collage. And this piece, you know, kind of represents me. And like I said, the other piece downstairs represents my sisters. And then, oh, let's talk about this brick wall. So when I initially purchased this home, the brick wall was kind of had a reddish tone to it, which I was not crazy about. So I love the fact that we painted this wall black. It is, especially because when the TV is off, the TV kind of disappears. On the outside of the brick, we painted it gray. And that gray color actually is the same color that's in the ceiling in the kitchen. So I thought that was a great transition. And then if we move over here, I wanted to break up the room just a little bit because on this side is my plant area. So I wanted to kind of separate that from the living room. So we found these this glass panel bifold doors. And I think it just really, really looks well in the space. And then if we move over here, like I said, this is my plant area. I recently became, at the encouragement of my daughter, I became a plant mom. So these are the plants that I'm kind of dealing with now. I think I've done pretty good. I haven't killed one yet. And then here is a image that I actually found this on Instagram. I don't know who the artist is or who the photographer is, but again, I was attracted to it because it's black and white, and you know, she's holding the blossoms in that beautiful vessel. So I thought that image worked really, really well for this area. This is probably on this floor one of my favorite areas in the living room. So this table I purchased from, guess, CB2. I purchased this mirror from Home Goods. I actually bought this when I first purchased the home. I had no idea where this mirror was going to go. It sat in my garage for a long time. But when I saw it, I had to have it because I've never seen anything like it. It does have a lot of nicks and bruises, which I didn't really care about because I think it adds character to the mirror. And I think it found its perfect home here in this little nook. This is another piece by Woodrow Nash. This one is a little bit different. Well, it's taller, but this one he embellished it with a little bit more gold, which I love. And this beautiful embellishment with the necklaces. And then here, just more boxes. In this box, I store my remotes. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I shoot a lot of my content in this section, in this area. And so in this box, I just store my remotes and things that I need for my content. This is what I call my gallery wall. So I have pictures of my family here. I also have some other images that I found on Instagram. I just use them as placeholders until I get more family photos. And then this image in the middle, I purchased this from a marketplace here in Atlanta called Westside Market. And I love this piece. I absolutely love this piece. I was drawn to it initially because of the colors. It has these beautiful blue colors and green, of course. But I love the fact that she's looking up and she's looking forward. And it kind of reminds me of my daughter as well. If you can get a close up, every time people come, they always think that this is a portrait of my daughter, but it's actually, I don't know who the artist is, but I think it's a beautiful piece. This bench, I purchased this from CB2 as well. I mean, this is a very functional bench. I use it as a side table. I use it when we have parties, if we have extra seating. We use it as a footstool. So it's really, really functional, as well as being beautiful. And then this table. So this table has a lot of functions as well. I like how artful it is. I moved it around quite a bit. I can push it together to give it one particular look. Sometimes when we're entertaining, I'll separate the pieces and put one by each the couch pieces so people can have, a drink table or something like that. So yeah, I love this coffee table a lot. This is our bar area. I am not really a drinker, but I did want to have a place for, our guests when they come over to be able to mix their drinks. I also have always been a collector of beautiful glassware. So I wanted to have a place to display my glassware. And then here is a print that please forgive me and don't come for me on the comments because I cannot remember this artist's name. I actually have her coffee table book downstairs, but I can't remember her name. But I love this photo that she shot of herself, and so I just tore it out of the book and put it here, just to kind of decorate the bar, to just give it a little bit more interest. So yeah, I just keep my beverages here, alcohol here, and I think up here I store some more glasses. So yeah, I love this bar. So for 36 years, I was a dental consultant, but I recently became a full-time content creator. I'm also a mom to a beautiful 32-year-old daughter, Brianna. And in addition, my boyfriend is a full-time visual artist. He's been painting for about 40 years. So I work for him as well as his studio manager. So what I try to do with my community is I try to encourage women, hopefully I encourage women to live as boldly and as freely as they can. I speak to women in particular over a certain age, over the age of 50, and I hope to encourage them that they can wear what they want and not to fit in any particular box just because they're of a certain age. All right, welcome to my kitchen. I think the only thing that I changed in here after I purchased the house was I changed these handles. They were kind of boring because they were the contractor grade handles. So I wanted to give it just a little bit more panache. I think I bought these from Amazon. So that's really the only thing that I've changed in the kitchen. I love these light fixtures. Well, after I purchased the home, I upgraded these fixtures, and I actually had a rude awakening because even though I've owned several homes, I've never really invested as much as I've invested in this home. And I had a rude awakening. I didn't know that light fixtures cost as much as they do. So I think that's probably why I didn't do too much in this kitchen. I didn't change any countertops. The only thing I changed was the handles on the cabinets because I wanted to be able to afford these lights. And I just really, really think that they set off the space. They really elevate the space. So welcome to my dining room. So I always say that this dining room is small, but I think it's packed with a lot of personality. Let's start with this beautiful, beautiful wallpaper. This wallpaper is actually, it's by a company called Mitchell Black. It is a Black-owned wallpaper company. And I love the green. As you know, I've mentioned that a zillion times. The only thing I think I'm gonna update in here is this light fixture, the light plate, because I always like my light plates to kind of, I think this is just too simple and, it's, I want something a little bit more elevated to kind of, capture the wallpaper. So that's the only thing I'm probably gonna change. And then if we move over here to this stunning piece of artwork. So I was initially attracted to this because I think that she just demands attention. She has a lot of strength. I love the way the artist depicted, how she elongated her arms, how she depicted her hair. I actually found this artist on Instagram as well. Her name is Ingrid Beers. I think she's out of the Netherlands maybe. But I reached out to her and I was so happy that they weren't sold out because it's only 50 of these. And I have number 32, so I was so thankful that they weren't sold out. And then we have these beautiful sculptural lights. In this space as well, I think it kind of has a speakeasy kind of vibe to it. So I thought these lights would work well to try to speak to that. That was the kind of message that we were trying to deliver in this space. Was we wanted to give it kind of a speakeasy type of vibe. And then here, this table is cement, and I was in love with it initially when I purchased it, but I'm not so crazy about it anymore, mainly because it's too heavy and it's too awkward to move around. So I think we're gonna change this out and maybe do something that's maybe wood or maybe a glass top table or something like that. I know glass top is probably old fashioned right now, but I'm definitely gonna change this table eventually. And these are the chairs that I purchased from CB2. And then I want to talk about these plates. This is, again, that Harlem Toile print. And then what's cool about these plates is the print continues on the back. This is a collaboration that Sheila did with Wedgwood. So I have 4 of these, so they're all different colors. And I think they're absolutely beautiful. And then right here I have, like I mentioned before, I love to collect glassware. So these glasses, flutes, I started collecting these about maybe 15 years ago or so. And I purchased them from a boutique here in Atlanta. And I only purchased 2 initially. And my intention was to go back and purchase more. But unfortunately he closed and I wasn't able to find them for a long time. But I did find them recently on eBay, so I was able to purchase 4 more. I do want to complete the set and I want to have 6. So hopefully they haven't sold out and hopefully I can find them. But what I love about these is this represents I think it's the Swazi tribe. They're an African tribe in Central Africa. And each one of them is completely different. And then this one, I have to say, is my favorite one. This warrior has her baby on her back. She's carrying her baby on her back. So this is my favorite one. This is a picture of my family. The only person that's missing is my brother. He wasn't born yet when my mother had this picture taken. And I'm so happy to have this. My mother finally, I've been asking for it for years, and she finally was willing to give it up. And I did, the only thing I changed, because she was reluctant to give it to me, so I didn't want to change anything about it. So this is how she had it framed originally. The only thing I did, I wanted to modernize it just a little bit. So I had this frame, this it's just a little bit more modern. So I had this frame added to it. But I know it's stained and it's faded, but I love it. These are my 2 sisters. These are my 2 sisters and my parents. So I love this piece. So if you're ready, we can go up to the primary suite. So welcome to my fabulous bedroom. This room gives me goosebumps. And I'm not joking. So quick story, when the designers asked me how I wanted to feel when we designed my bedroom, what I told them, I said, I want to feel like Carrie Bradshaw, right? And they said, what do you mean Carrie Bradshaw? I said, there's a scene. I said, if you don't know the scene, go back and look at this scene. There's a scene, I think, in the second movie where she's entering her apartment. And she and Big, they enter their apartment. And she's just kind of, tinkering around with her drapes and kind of looking around her beautiful space. And that scene just stuck in my mind. So I said, listen, I don't know what you have to do. I don't know what you're going to come up with. Here are some of my ideas, but this is how I want to feel when I walk into my bedroom. And I think they did a phenomenal job. I love my bedroom. When I look around, that everything that I look at, everything that I see, everything that I touch, I love it. I think the showstopper in this bedroom is this lasso light. I had never, ever, ever seen anything like this before. And when they suggested it, I almost fell over because of the price of it. But what I told them, I said, listen, I don't care what we have to do. I want this light, whatever you need to take out. If I don't need side tables, I don't need lamps, I don't need rugs, whatever I need to do to get this lasso light, I had to have this lasso light. So I'm glad we were able to work it out. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the most unique lights I've ever seen personally. So I definitely think that's one of the showstoppers in this room. So I already had the bed. I purchased this bed when I first bought my home. I think I purchased this from maybe Restoration Hardware. The only thing that we did to the bed was we added this phenomenal fringe. And I think the fringe really elevated the bed. It just really changed the game. I loved the bed before, but I really, really like it now. Here we have these beautiful side tables. These side tables are from Bernhardt. Initially, I thought they were too big. But I do appreciate the wide surface now. I'm not a person that keeps a lot of things on my side table, but if you need to, you have the space for it. So I think they work really, really well in the space. And then I always keep a notepad of some sort by my bed, just in case I remember something in the middle of the night, which happens quite often. I always have a notepad here. And then here, again, I always decorate with coffee table books. This book is really special to me. My sister gave me this book about 20 years ago for, I think, my birthday or something like that. She knows I love orchids, so this is a book of beautiful orchids. And then we can move over to my, I guess we can call this my dressing table. So I purchased this about, it's got to be over 20 years. So I used to have a shoe boutique here in Atlanta. And I purchased this book to, I sold like shoes and jewelry and different things like that. And so I purchased this table to display the different things that I sold in my boutique. This table has beautiful, beautiful carvings. And it didn't have the glass, I had the glass added. And, but it's, you know, I'm glad I kept it. I'm glad I didn't get rid of it over the years because I think it works, you know, I think it's beautiful in this space. I use this table kind of as an altar. I use it as a dressing table, but I have this beautiful onyx bowl. I think I picked this up maybe at Home Goods or something like that. But I keep in this bowl, I keep a few things. I keep these, they're called encouragement cards. And I change them out. Sometimes I change them out daily, sometimes I change them out weekly. But like this one says, when you declare, I am open and ready to receive, the universe not only hears you, it holds out its hands to help you. This one says, where do I begin? By making your bed. So I love these, like, you know, some of them are affirmational, they're, you know, they're a source of encouragement. So like I said, I'll change them out sometimes daily and sometimes weekly. Like this one, this is the one that I love the most. When I'm looking in my mirror, this one says, fall in love with what's in front of you. So I keep these cards in the bowl. I also have, this is my grandmother's watch that she passed down to me. I don't necessarily wear her watch, but sometimes when I'm, you know, in my room dancing around or cleaning up or whatever, I'll just put it on and, you know, think about her. But I keep that here in this dish. And then this is another print that I tore out of one of my coffee table books. I forgot the name of the artist. Again, it's actually the same one that we saw downstairs, but what I love about this is I like how she styled her hair for this. I think that this is yarn or something like that, but I think it's just so striking. I love the way she looks in this photograph. And then here is a vintage box that I purchased at I think an estate sale a few months ago. But I love the embellishment on this box. And what I do with this is, you know, I have a lot of jewelry I love jewelry, but it's packed away and I don't always see it. So sometimes if there's something that I want to remind myself to wear, I'll just put it in this box. Like right now I have this ring I haven't worn in a while. So just to remind me to wear it, I'll just stick it in this box. So when I'm, you know, doing my finishing touches on getting dressed, you know, it'll just remind me to wear it. And then here, this beautiful pewter dish. Typically what I'll do is I'll keep whatever the perfume is that I'm wearing at the time. I keep that here. And then these two, I recently started collecting vintage perfume bottles. So these are the two most recent ones that I collected. So I just keep those here in this dish. And then if we go over here to this area where my chase is, I love this chase. I sit here sometimes when I'm watching television or if I need to make a quick note or put on my slippers or something like that. And then here I'll just keep, you know, I always have orchids in my house. I normally have them on every floor. And then here I'll just keep books that I need to read or that I have read. Like this is one that I need to read. My daughter has been bugging me forever to read this book, Sisters of the Yam by Bell Hooks. If we move into the primary bathroom. So funny story about this bathroom. After I purchased the house, I had them install this phenomenal penny tile. I just love this tile, right? And the contractors wanted to put up the, you know, the typical contractor mirror, which is not the most attractive mirror. And so I said, no, don't put it up. We just kept it in the garage. They were like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, just put it in the garage. So for 5 years, I did not have a mirror up. because I wanted to wait to get the perfect mirrors to put in this bathroom, because I really wanted the contractor mirror that they were going to put up was way too big, and it was, like I said, it wasn't attractive, and I wanted this penny tile to be the showstopper in here. So we recently got these two mirrors, which I think they are perfect, because they of course they just allow the penny tile to just stand out. I didn't want anything ornate or anything like that. I just wanted something really simple, something really, really modern. So I think that they look really good. Here I have another painting this is an original painting by Lynthia Edwards. And this is I think I got this from the same gallery, Richard Beaver's gallery, in Soho. So another thing I wanted to point out was, I'm a stickler for details, and when we designed this bedroom, I wanted everything in this bedroom to be touched. So we were able to find these really nice brass plates, as well as these phenomenal knobs, and I think that really, it elevated the space. And then I wanted to mention this paint color. This is one of the questions that I get asked quite a bit on Instagram, is the color of this paint. The color is Black Fox, and I think it's Sherwin-Williams, but it's a beautiful color. And I'm glad that we were able to find these door plates that match it perfectly. And then in the water closet here, again, we repeated the Sheila Bridges toile print on this Roman shade. And then I also changed out the doorknobs. These are vintage glass doorknobs. And then I also changed the door plate to their vintage plates as well. So I think that it really elevated the space. So right outside my bedroom, I have this phenomenal piece of artwork. It's probably my favorite piece in the whole house. It's by my partner, my boyfriend, Leroy Campbell. He's been painting for about 40 years maybe. He created this piece in 1990. This piece is called Same Path. But what I love about it is I love the representation of my family, the three sisters, and my brother. This is when he was painting pastels and I think acrylics. But I did just kind of take this from his studio, so hopefully he'll let me keep it, because I absolutely love this piece. Home to me is sanctuary. It's a place of refuge. It's a place of restoration, and it's a place of love. Okay, Homeworthy, it was great having you in my home today, but it's time for you to go. Bye.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Meg. Welcome to my home in Philadelphia. I can't wait to show you around. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Scan the QR code to subscribe to our new channel, Weddingworthy, where we celebrate amazing couples and the love stories behind their perfect day.
Hi, my name is Meg Rogers. I'm an interior designer. Welcome to my home here in Philadelphia. I moved in when I married my husband in 1994, and we lived in a studio apartment, which is now our guest suite, which is behind me on the other side of that wall. We had our first child in 1998, and at that time we bought the unit that we're sitting in, which we then connected to the rental unit where we lived. In 2004, we adopted a little girl from China. At that time, we started to look at other places to move to. We looked all over the building. We wrote to people here in the towers to see who else maybe had combined units or that we could combine. I was able to purchase another unit on the floor that wasn't connected, and then eventually we were able to purchase the one that connected all of them. So that was 2006 or 7, and we started our construction at that time, and we moved in 2009 approximately. So this is an IMPay designed building, and it was originally designed as Section 8 housing, believe it or not. But the construction materials it was very well done, very simply, but well done. So things that we did that are not typical in the building, we gutted all of the apartments, we ripped up the floors, we went down to bare concrete for everything. We installed cork floors that we stained very dark. And then all of the raceways that are under the windows, which carry all the wiring and the convectors, we stripped them back to their original bronze material. So it gave the envelope a deep color foundation to be able to place all of our collection and furnishings. The biggest move that we made was to capture the hallway, which you can see later when you tour the unit, that the bedrooms are typically all up against the windows. And because we purchased the unit that takes up the entire east side of the building, we moved the bedrooms to be adjacent to the bathrooms and then capture that hallway. So we have a clear shot north-south, and it really expands this, your sense of space. And the kids' rooms that are tucked in there have sliding glass, Japanese tea house inspired doors that have glass in them. So they have light that's in there, but they could be tucked away in there. And it gave us this really nice circulation. So a couple of architectural things in here. When we did these renovations, the kitchen used to be here, and this is a gas line that runs all the way through the building. So in order for us to move the kitchen to where a bedroom had been, we needed to leave that gas line. This is a Nakashima table. So again, another dream of mine to own a piece of Nakashima's work. These are Carl Aubach candlesticks. I have quite a few of his pieces. Absolutely love his bookends, candlesticks. I have some lamps that you'll see later. These are also Wharton Esherick prints. Another dream of mine to be able to own some of these pieces. Lots of eclectic objects on here from various places. This piece has a Bennett bean pot, and it has an interesting story. I'll try to keep it brief. When I left my first husband and I separated, he called me and said, something really horrible happened. You're going to be really upset. I can't tell you on the phone. You have to come over and I have to show you. Well, our cats had been running around and broke this piece, and it was in a million pieces, and he had it in a shoebox. And I couldn't look at it. So for years, I just mourned it, and I had it in a box. And I then met him at a show, and I told him the story about how it had been the most expensive thing I had ever purchased in my life, and it took me a year to pay for it. And I think it was only $400, but at the time, I was a struggling woodworker. And he said, "Send it to me. I'll put it back together for you." So this is how he put it back together. These are traditional woodworking techniques, these butterflies, but he used it in his pottery, and I think it's even more fabulous than it was originally. The other architectural thing I wanted to point out is we dropped the ceiling here in this dining and kitchen area. We needed light. In the living room, I had explained we left the ceiling concrete and we have no downlights, but we needed light in the kitchen and the dining area. So we have this dropped ceiling that has a really interesting beveled edge. And then on some of the areas, there's track hidden and tucked in there so that we can light art on the wall because we can't get lighting into the concrete ceiling. So this allowed us to get some lighting into these areas in an architectural way that we were happy with. So our dining chairs are all different. They are antique side chairs, and we just started collecting them. I think the 4 original came from my husband's mother, if I remember correctly, and I happened to have a couple. So we ended up staining all the seats red to give them just a fresh take, and we have 6 or 8 more that I have in a home office across the hall, but we have a second one of these tables, and we can put both tables together and have this big boat-shaped table with all the chairs around it, which allows us to have more of a banquet table, which is great. So we are now in the great room, living room area, and area where we spend time alone, we spend time entertaining. It's used for all kinds of things. The screen at the end of the room is a copy of an Edgar Brandt metal screen from 1924. I didn't remember. I knew I recognized it when I bought it at auction, but later on I saw it in a book and was quite pleased to know that that was what it's a copy of. It's just, we just love the colors, and it influenced a lot of the colors that we have in here. We have Asian antique bookshelves where we have a lot of our book collections. The couches, there are two of them that book match on each side of the room. And these I designed to be a specific size and height that worked within the room. Our pillows are Kevin O'Brien. He's a friend and a local artisan as well. I think nowadays most everyone knows who Kevin O'Brien is for his pillows and fabrics and bedding. We have a bar that we designed here that we absolutely love and use all the time. And we decided to paint the interior different colors. So this side is green. I have a huge collection of Russell Wright glassware, these bubble glasses. And these glasses I brought back from Istanbul a couple years ago. This side we painted yellow. So it's just fun. They match the glasses, and when we open them up, it gives us a little bit more entertainment. These are Roman Thomas sconces. And this artwork is made from a book cut. The artist carves into the book and then reveals certain imagery from the book, so it becomes a three-dimensional piece, which is very cool. We have swivel chairs here, so we can watch movies or talk to someone on the chaises. But that's a great way for us to entertain. More Karl Auerbach candlesticks. We have some Karl Auerbach bookends over here, food dogs. Some of these pieces, as I said, we brought back from China when we went to adopt our daughter. These little pieces are Loza, I think his last name, but love this little collection of art. And then he also made a sculpture that we have over here on this bookshelf behind the bamboo shades, this piece here. This is also a piece of his that we use on this bookshelf, but love the three-dimensional quality of that. This is a Donald Sultan and Mamet book that I change the pages on a regular basis, so we read it throughout the week, and then I'll start over at the beginning of the week. This is a Chinese coffee table. I've actually owned this for a very long time. We had this previously, and it fit perfectly into our home. This is where we read the most. We sit here often early in the morning when the light is great, and this is my chair, and that's my husband's. And we're very specific about that because that's where our collections are, but it's just a really comfortable place to sit, and this scale of this is perfect. And you'll see when we get to the other side, the scale of the coffee table is significantly larger, but it does afford us that stretch of space for people to put things down. People sit and eat there, drink there. It's very used, very loved. Nothing's precious. So we're going to move to the other half, but in the middle, we have a pair of Hans Wagner daybed chaises. So we watch, if we're alone or if my daughter or my son and I want to watch a movie, we sit right here. I can move them up so I can have a higher view. Or when we have all the kids home and they have all their friends here, these become beds for 2 or 3 people. These are root tables. So these are carved from a single root. We have 4 of those. We work with a Asian dealer here in Philadelphia, and she's just amazing. So a lot of what I have here, we have purchased from her. On this side, our coffee table is twice the size as the other side, and this is a daybed with a beautiful woven top. But this also gets reconfigured all the time. We have different books out. When we entertain, we'll take some things away and have food on here. But again, people can put things down. It's not precious. People have spilled on here. It's very lived in and loved. Candles everywhere. As I said, we light this room by candlelight. We have our son's baseball mitt. I think he came home one day and put it there, and it was his older mitt, and we just left it because it just represents, it's a piece of art. Again, the same couch and pillows that we have there. On this side, I have a small sculpture by an artist named Clark Fitzgerald, who was from my hometown in Maine. And he's the man that I interned when I was trying to figure out what to major in after dropping 2 of my intended majors. And working with him and doing sculpture with him really helped me to realize that I loved working with wood and metal. And that's when I transferred to be a furniture maker. So when he passed away, his children allowed me to purchase some of these pieces. So I have a few things here and in Maine. This is an Edward Wormley table. These are Edward Wormley slipper chairs that are here. And then we have another pair of the Asian lamps with the woven bamboo. Candlesticks here are different. You know, this is a yard sale. These are Baccarat. This is Carl Springer. These were made by an artist as a gift to me. These were my client that I mentioned earlier when their children asked if I wanted some of the things. This is another pair of food dogs. And I picked things that I remembered buying with her. It was a memorable moment, and so that was meaningful to me to have things of hers. You'll see we have lots of animal influenced objects and books, and I actually do read a lot of these. This has all my movie stuff in it. There's actually a DVD player in here and a subwoofer. This is custom made to be part of the audio setup because we needed that. And orchids, I think that's another thing. You'll see we have a lot of orchids. I have another apartment across the hall that I use as a home office and a swing space. So when these orchids die down, we put them across the hall and they come back. So we almost have our own little greenhouse, and we don't often have to purchase new orchids. So we keep them here. They just thrive in the space, which we just love. So we chose to do a sisal carpet in here that really covers almost the whole floor, but it really allows you to experience this as a single room and not separate rooms. And it's not terribly expensive. So we've actually replaced this once already in our time living here. It doesn't break the bank to be able to do that. So we feel like we can keep it fresh and we can get a new one and it's okay, but it's very practical, and it lets everything else pop without the rug being the decorative patterned object in the room. Everything except for the couches and the 2 swivel chairs back here is vintage, antique, a lot of Asian things, some of which we owned, other things we collected. The couches are custom designed for the space to be the right size, the right height. And we have no ceiling light in this room. It's a concrete ceiling, so we left it alone. So it's actually a room that we live in candlelight. When we entertain here, it's very warm and very, it's candlelit. We also have a screen, movie screen that comes down right here in front of the window, and a projector that's tucked in to the back of a kitchen cabinet at the other side of the room. And it's great because everyone can see and we can all, move around, and the candlelight is very, warm and inviting. I just love coming home. I think I come in the door and I feel like I'm in another world. I don't care what the weather is. It can be windy and gray like today, but our views are unbelievable, and you never have the same thing going on outside. Our cats always add another little element, so it's fun to come home and see how they use the space and tiptoe around all of the things that are here. It's always been a very social home, and we've always had our kids' friends here. I'd come in and the whole baseball team would be sleeping on the couches in here. So I just love that people use every single room. So now we're going towards the kitchen, and I wanted to point out this piece of art here. This was at Modern Gallery, which is also a world-renowned gallery here in Philadelphia, and friends of ours. This was made by a woodworking student who would have been in college in the 70s at the same time that I was, but he was at RISD, and I went to Philadelphia College of Art to the crafts department. But this would have been the projects when you were learning how to use the tools and how you could create patterns. This would have been done on a table saw. This would have been done on a drill press. This could have been hand carved in here, or possibly an overhead router. So I love how he made it into a sculpture, and it reminds me of the training I went through and learning how to use the tools and the kinds of things that you could do. I just think it's amazing. And we framed it. It was just on a panel. And actually, I think Bob Abel, who owns Modern, just had it sitting on a table. And I saw it and immediately picked up on what it was. So that's one of my favorite pieces. So here is our kitchen. We have 2 peninsulas, I would say, not really islands. And again, we use this kitchen all the time. We sit over here. We have the cook's area here so we can be out of each other's way. All of our we have no upper cabinets. Everything's tall and hidden. We don't like to have a lot of things out in the kitchen. I think the cork floor here is a great advantage because people do drop things, and we almost never break anything because it just lands softly on the cork, which is great. We chose to do 2 different countertops, stainless steel here because this is where the sink is and where we dry dishes, and we needed something that was very functional. On this side, we wanted wood because it's where we sit, and we also wanted something, just didn't see marble or granite or a cold surface. We wanted something warm and comfortable. And we do refinish it. We oil it every couple of years, so it's probably due for a good oil. One of our woodworkers made this, and I wanted these finger joints, which is a traditional woodworking detail. So that detail on the end was something that we incorporated. The stools that we have are Nakashima stools. Again, one of my favorite woodworkers. And one of the things that's really perfect about them is that they're low and they don't really get in your way. They tuck in, and they're actually very comfortable. We do have 4 of them because we are a family of 4, but one is broken at the moment. But that's something we absolutely love. These are dishes, again, an interesting story. When my parents bought a cottage on a lake in Maine, there were several of these dishes, and there was one bowl and a pitcher. And I loved these dishes since I was a little kid, and I used to walk around and use just these dishes, and my mother would find the room, and here's the pitcher. And when they were much older and they started to realize they were going to want to allow the kids to have certain things, my mother packed them up and sent them to me and said, here, you've always loved these, you can have these. And so I started collecting them, and they're called Melbourne. They're a British make, and they're brown transferware, but it's a Japanese pattern that is absolutely beautiful. So I have lots and lots of them now in this cabinet. Lots of bowls and different things. So we use them. We don't keep them hidden. And we have also another set of dishes that are Russell Wright, so they coordinate with our glasses. And those are this color. We have a few, but these go with the glasses that you saw earlier. We have others in other colors, but buried underneath. But we can get a lot of storage in here, which I like that you're not seeing all that. But it actually, the cabinets, the dishes pull out, so you can get to things easily. So now we're coming down this hallway I spoke of earlier that we created this. This would have been the end of the bedroom. We moved the bedrooms over so that they're en suite with the bathrooms. So this is our daughter's room, and she's still around. She's in college close by, so she comes home often, and uses this room. She has her collage of photos, her fashion stuff. This is all stuff that she did herself. So here we did step lighting. We wanted this to really feel almost like you were outside. You know, you're at the tea house and the rooms are beyond, but we have step lights here and these Allisonberger sconces, which we still absolutely love. And everywhere, and I didn't always mention this everywhere, we have the shade pockets up above. So in some places we couldn't get them up into the ceilings because we hadn't dropped them. So we created these pockets so that we could have blackout for them. This is our son's room. And here we gave him a bunk bed so that it was just the best way to lay out his room. So this is a Japanese tansu stair that we used as his stair going up there. And that also gives him lots of storage. And he has a red chest. And then his, these were embroidered cars that his grandmother made for my husband when he was a child. So those are very meaningful to us. And our cat, Holly, lives up here on this bunk bed because she likes to be able to watch everybody. So that's where she is. And he's a baseball player. So we have all his many baseballs, and somewhere else in here, you'll see his books are all about baseball. He's got his baseball bat there in the corner. I think when you come in the door, it's not what you would expect. You have a tight entrance that then opens up to a very bright, and you see there's so much view, so much perspective. So I think when, you know, the idea is that you come into a narrower space that's very cozy and inviting, and then it really opens up. I mean, I you know, always like when people just are stunned by the objects and the things that we have, and they get very interested and ask questions and want to know where something came from. I don't think that there aren't that many things that are recognizable in today's world, but oftentimes they wouldn't know that the candlesticks over there are by Carl Springer. They're not common pieces that you would know were designed by a particular artist or artisan. So this is our den, and it's also where I have my largest collection of animal portraits. Many of them are our pets, but not all of them. But I try to collect things that look like they were someone's beloved pet that had a name. We have the whole wall there. Many of these, this was my dog here, and this was one of my cats, my cats. So a lot of these are very personal here. And also the wall unit here, there's a desk here that comes down. We have a printer in here. We've got all our games in here. So this room would be more of a family room to be used. I have all my cat books here, dog books, horse books, history. These National Geographics are from my parents, and they go back to 1953, which is the year I was born. So we have all those, and then we get National Geographic, so we've added to it. But I actually do refer to them sometimes. I'll try to look up a piece of history, and I'll go to 1964 and find the month, or sometimes you'll find some amazing stories in there. But it's just stuff that we like and keep. And then this is more of my horse wall here. And these were my horses. These two, I had someone paint them. And that is my sister and I on our horses. So a lot of very personal things. And just as I find them, again, I rearrange this wall, or I find a way to add something. So when I bought these little pieces, which I have 3 of, I just had to find ways to fit them in. I brought these paper mache masks back from Stockholm last year, I think. So somehow I'm going to run out of space, or I think I maybe am out of space, but somehow I find a way to fit the stuff in. But, not all important stuff. These are just little toys, but I think they're something I had as a kid, so I kept them and I get to enjoy them. These are my husband started his career at Venturi's office and did a lot of the drawings for the ones that have the pattern on them. The grandmother chair, I think they're called. But we have two. We have this one and we have a black one. We have these chairs, this rosewood trunk we love because we can have all the linens for the bed in it and be able to use that as a sleep sofa. These are Carl Albach table lamps that are here. And this rug is from Rug & Company, and it's stitched together hides. So you can actually see here this is just skin. There's no fur left on it because this is how everybody comes into the room, whereas in some of the other areas or underneath, you can see it's still hide. So this room, which is on the north side of the apartment, this was the kids' playroom and then their family room, entertainment room, but we turned this into my husband's office once they had both moved out of the house. And so he has his truck collection in here, and he works from home quite often, and his book collection, just along with a lot, and we've kept a lot of the kids' things in here that we wanted to continue to live with, some of their art projects and some of their books. And this is also the cats area. We have their feeding down here and a lot of the other things. So we have art low, so they get to enjoy some artwork. So this is all for them. And then you'll come down here. It's the rear entrance to the apartment, and this is our family photo gallery, which again gets changed up from time to time. So we have the kids' portraits. My mom was a model, so those are her shots. And just lots of great, fun family photos. This is a portfolio that I purchased of these photographs. I have quite a few of them, but these are all of Venice. And they're, again, we love Italy. We have a home in Italy, so we love seeing all of that. And now we're coming into our primary suite. This used to be a one-bedroom apartment, and this is the one that I purchased before we were able to get the others, and then we connected them. So this was the former kitchen in here. It's my husband's dressing room. And then this was a bathroom and a closet and various things. So we turned this into our bathroom. So we have a big soaking tub that we actually use all the time in here. So this is, and it's nice. We have, our dressing rooms are off the bathroom, so convenient. And we have pocket doors for everything. So we can close the door if someone else is asleep. Can do that. This is our television, but it's behind a sliding panel that slides up when you want to watch TV. And this was also done by the artist who did our powder room mural. Again, this is water and mountains. So similar scenic things that we've collected, things that are meaningful to us, our books. So for our bedside table, it's a Roman Thomas wood bed. It's a Ron Man floor lamp. And I have a Chinese desk that I do sit here and write, or in the mornings, oftentimes I want to sit and just take some notes if I'm on a call. So it's just a quick way to do that. Some family portraits, a moonstone. This is a painting by William Smith. And we have a couple of other paintings of his as you enter. But, you know, we just wanted this room to be very calm, very serene. The walls are a Venetian plaster with a metallic in them. So they just have a really beautiful, warm glow to them. This painting I purchased at an antique dealer probably 30 years ago, and I've kept it with me forever. It reminds me of our lake. It's very much the view. So it's that comforting kind of view. This piece was from Wexler Gallery. I know the artist's first name, Jenny. I think her last name is Basile. These are Holly Hunt chairs and ottomans, a Edward Wormley triangular table, Roman Thomas ceiling lamp, and the millwork, the custom millwork, this TV unit, all the millwork that you've seen, I designed. It's all custom work that was done in our shop. So again, I can close these doors if I'm in here and don't want to disturb my husband. Have a nice sized dressing room, and as you can tell, I'm a collector, so I keep things. So I have a lot of things that I've had for a long time, but it's nice to have this nice big window in my dressing room. And then I'll give you a little peek into my husband's dressing room. This little piece right here was in our old apartment, and this is the wall that we took out that has all the kids' heights, you know, from and ours. So I think our son might be yeah, he's at the top now. I did not know that I wanted to be an interior designer, and I got into it really through a back door. As a teenager, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to have my own boutique. I thought that that's what I would do. I intended to be a fashion design major when I went to college and did an introductory course and decided that I really could not go through that kind of a academic, structured program. I think when you're 19, you think you know more than you do. So I changed my major to textile design, also was not happy with that. And eventually, through a process of working with a mentor who was a sculptor, I decided to major in furniture making because I realized that what I really enjoyed was working with my hands, but working with customers. I wasn't inclined to be a fine artist. I liked solving someone's problem. So I was a woodworker. I have a degree in woodworking. I had a very large woodworking business for over a decade. And in the late 80s, I ran into financial difficulties with the crash. And I closed my woodworking business and opened the interior design business because at that point I owned my building. I had quite a few liabilities, and I had some opportunities that had come in from a show house that I did. So it was unexpected. I hadn't really thought that's where I would head, but it's become a very successful business and something that I enjoy and love doing, but was not ever my intended career. Movies are a huge inspiration for me. I spend a significant amount of time watching movies. I rewatch movies, so I think it's how I traveled up until I was 40 years old. I had never been to Europe, which is surprising because now I have traveled all over the world. But before then, I really traveled through film and would do the research if I had a project coming up and if I wanted it to have a particular style and character. I spent my time watching films. I would freeze them. I would sketch from that. I would say that's probably my biggest inspiration. I keep up. Now I do the shows and I go to all of that and see what other people are doing. But early in my career, that was really not. It wasn't as accessible as it is now as well. There are more showrooms, more artists that are being represented in galleries where you can see their work, but I would say movies. Here we are in the entry of my home, and we have quite a few things that mean a lot to us here. I have a Wharton Esherick table, which was a dream come true for me to be able to purchase this. He's a renowned woodworker, and as a woodworker, being able to own one of his pieces was amazing. These are Lou Kahn painting and drawing. My husband is an architect, so for him, these are his prized possessions. And then this is a collection. It's the woodblock print collection from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It has a Wasselman, a Chuck Close, so just love these, the scale and the collection and just the eclectic nature of that. These are foo dogs. And these I purchased for clients of mine, beloved clients. I did 2 homes for them. They eventually passed away, but I worked for their children as well. And they asked me if I wanted any of their things before they claimed them themselves or sent them to auction. So there are several objects around our apartment that I took, and it always reminds me of my clients. And they were one of my very first interior design clients. So they're very special to me. The mirror I purchased at auction. It's parchment, and I just love the scale, and it has a lot of age and wear and tear, which is perfect. These are plaster sconces. I'm forgetting at the moment who the artisan is, but a well-known French designer. We always have an arrangement here, which makes us very happy to come home to. We have a Metropolitan MoMA Museum collection. It's called the Rubber Stamp Collection, and I think it was from the 70s, but an amazing collection of well-known artists. There's a Wasselman, a Chuck Close. There's an Agnes Martin around the corner, which is part of this collection. So those are all things that I just love to collect and live with and come home to. There's a painting here that is great. This artist, his first name is Dries Awandi, I think is the name. I can get you the correct name. And it reminded me of the building. It is a painting, a very abstract painting of a building. And I bought that for my husband for Christmas one year. I thought he would love that. So that's also a special piece to us. So now we're leaving the entryway and we're going into, it's a hallway, we call it the gallery. These drawings most of them are my husband's, and there are two areas, this one and the other little index card sketches and notes are his partner. They're a very accomplished architecture firm, and these are sketches and works they did when in Rome and for some of their projects. So we change this around from time to time. He has more of these. Sometimes these go out on exhibit, or they do some kind of a thing for their students and they might take them out. So I have to redo this wall quite frequently, but it keeps it interesting. And we have it on an art hanging system, which allows me to do that purposefully. This was, by the way, the original corridor that led through the other apartments so that the bedrooms, which you'll see later, were to the right and the bathrooms would have been to the left, but we switched the corner to be along the window wall. So this is a dead-end corner that goes to the powder room. So at the end of the hallway, we have our powder room. And this room, again, is very Asian-inspired, but it's a silk mural that we had an artisan friend make. And this is based on our travels when we were in China to adopt our daughter. We went up the Li River, and we have many photographs and books and imagery from that. So we gave all that to him and he did sketches, and it was a very collaborative process. So it's just very meaningful to all of us for that trip. We have an antique chest that we turned into a vanity and a Rocky Mountain vessel sink that we love that looks like a flower. This little slot that's here is actually the air conditioning slot because we didn't want to see anything that was visible, so that was a clever way to do that. Further in the room, we have a lantern. Half of it is antique, and the other part was made by a local woodworker so that I had a taller piece, but it's the decorative light fixture in the room and the collections that are on there. The wainscoting is all custom made, but it gave us that. Usually I like to have things lower, but in here for some reason I wanted the balance to be a little different. It just felt like the right thing in terms of scale. So one of our favorite rooms. And here we are at the entrance to the great room, but it's really the end of the gallery. We have a piece by an artist, Suki. I'm blanking on her last name at the moment. She was a student at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts and just loved the three-dimensionality and the light, and that you could interpret it as different things. And then this piece of art here is a digital artwork that was created by my husband's client, who he built a beautiful home for. The imagery switch is, I can't remember how many thousands and thousands of images are in there, but it's never the same. And there are times I come home and there's an image on there that I've never seen before, because you can't possibly see them all in your time walking by. So we just love that it's not static, and when you come in, you feel like you're seeing something different. They're all from trains. So this would have been something on the side of a train. Home means family and friends a lot. It means where I can recharge. It's a place where I get more energy. I am a pretty high-strung person. I don't sleep a lot. I stay up late, and I like being at home. My mother used to say when I was young that I used every single room in the house, and it would annoy her, and I would tell her, well, the light here is nice in the morning and the light here is nice in the afternoon, and so I use different rooms. And I do the same thing here. I spend time in every room, but at different times of the day. Homeworthy, it was so much fun to have you here today, but it's time to go, and I'll see you next time.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Kevy Murphy, and welcome to my home in Manhasset. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hello, my name is Kevy Murphy, and I am the principal designer at K.A. Murphy Interiors. We are now currently in Flower Hill, Manhasset at my home. So when we first started looking at homes, we were looking for space because we were coming from a 3-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn Heights, and I had 4 children. So we were certainly looking for space, and I found that as I started to look, I became less willing to settle. If I was going to move out of my beloved city, I was getting everything that I wanted. So I wanted the space, the property, the perfect setting for the kids, all of it. And that's sort of what led us to this house, because it wasn't redone, and taking it down to the studs and gutting it wasn't feeling bad because it hadn't been done in over 25 years. So it needed a refresh, and it was the perfect place for me to hone my skills. So we are in the foyer right now, and this actually set the entire design for the whole house. It's actually very formatted, very much so for the size of the home. Typically when you go in new construction, the foyers are gigantic, and this is actually what it should be. This was a must. This is the whole design of the home. This is Pierre Frey, and it is so fun, and I loved it from the moment I saw it, and I was like, this is going to be somewhere in my home. I'm not sure where yet, but I basically carried it around for a couple of years and kept it. We have this piece of furniture from a company that no longer is in existence. It's called Grange, and I loved the peacock blue actually matched with the wallpaper so well. And behind us, you can see the door also takes on that same color to match the wallpaper as well. The light fixture in the stairwell was a little hard to source because it had it to be narrow, because it's a tiny space in there. This is from Visual Comfort, it's Ralph Lauren. And the other lighting in here is also from Visual Comfort. I really love a black and white tile, and I think this is super classic. A lot of times you'll see the black and white tile that doesn't have the veining in the black. This is Nero Marquina and Statuary White Extra. I love the shininess to it because I thought that was fun. And then to sort of lend a little bit of the black shiny, we decided to paint the stairs black and also the handrail of the original banister black too, to sort of tie in with the floor. I also chose the black and white floor because I felt like it was classic and it didn't really contrast with the colorful, crazy wallpaper that I love so much. So I felt like it was a perfect match. Also, another fun fact is my best friend loves to travel. She went to Egypt and we came up with a budget. And she brought me back all these fun Egyptian artifacts that she had collected during her trip. And they're one-of-a-kind unique pieces, and I love them. So when you walk into the house, the dining room is on your right here, and the formal living room is on your left. And you can see, and we'll walk through them, that the tones in those rooms are much more neutral because I wanted people to really relish this burst of color when they came into the home and not be too overstimulated. So they're definitely more of a neutral palette in there. Come on into the dining room. So this is the formal dining room. I always wanted to have Gracie wallpaper. When I went to design school, I found it amazing. And we worked on this with Jennifer Gracie. The company's amazing. I love that it's a chinoiserie wallpaper, but it's based in New York, so that's super fun. And it has a lacquer coating so that little people can touch it and it doesn't get ruined. It's hand painted, just like it was back when they first started the company. And it's an interesting paper because it comes showing the designer the CAD of what the room is going to look like so that you can approve the design, tweak the color, whatever you want to do. And it's made to fit the room perfectly. This is much more neutral, but still has a lot going on. I love the white chairs with the dark table. I think that that gives it a nice juxtaposition. I love the draperies. They are color blocked with 2 different types of silk. The Workroom Designer Draperies of Boston made them for me and came up with how we should design them based on the colors in the room. The hardware was faux painted to match the wallpaper background of the pewter. And then also the light fixtures in here from Neerman Weeks. They're made in Maryland. And they also have a similar patina on them so that they sort of match that pewter color. And this is custom. The same with the chandelier, which coordinates directly with the sconces, has that same patina on it. And they sized it so it fit in this room perfectly. We have let the kids come in more and more. And as they come in more and more, I've noticed a few more memories on the table and on the chairs and on the rug. But we have main holidays in here because the table expands to fit 12 people. So that's really cool. And then we have all of our china and our serviceware within this cabinet, which I also love very much. So this is a cabinet by Shamsian. Beth Ann Gray is the one that's the designer for it. And it's really cool. They have the drawers in here that hold the cutlery. And we had it specially designed. I made it a little bit higher because I wanted it higher than the table to be like a server. And then I made it be able to carry the stone top because I really thought bringing the onyx in here would be really beautiful with the pewter background of the wallpaper. The table is from a company called Alfonso Marina, and I love it because they customize, and we wanted a table that fit the room but would also fit the amount of people we wanted. The chairs are also by Alfonso Marina, and it has a metallic leather by Edelman, which is really pretty. And you know, leather does a really good job with wear and tear. So it's great when you have 4 kids. These doors we picked, we thought they would be so pretty to have the dining room be able to be closed off. I like the mirror. I just feel like it makes everything look a little bit bigger. We have the accent cremone bolt, which you know, can lock into the top, but it's mostly for decoration, but it does move and slide up and down. And then also over here, these doors are kind of fun too. They're Harman hinge doors, so you can close out the entire space. So it can be by itself quiet. Usually I feel like we've been trending towards people not having the formal dining room, but this house is from such a time where they had the formal dining room, and it has enough rooms to have a non-formal place to eat too. I feel like a lot of times clients give up the formal dining room when they need more room. This house just has a lot of the rooms compartmentalized, so it makes sense to have it. I came from being an attorney. I've always wanted to be an attorney growing up. It was just something that I wanted to do. My dad was an attorney, and I went to work at the district attorney's office in Brooklyn, where I met my husband. And we got married, and then I decided to have a family and realized pretty quickly that I wanted to stay home with the kids, and being a trial attorney would probably be super difficult with being a mom. So stayed home with the kids, had all of them. When the last one was a year old, I thought maybe I should look into doing something. We had hired a decorator to work on our house out east, and she did a great job, and I did a lot of things with her, and I really enjoyed it. And I said to my husband, let me give this a go. I'm gonna maybe take a class at the New York School of Interior Design and see how that works out. So I learned very quickly there. And then what happened is he said, I think we need to move. We're like sort of expanding out of this place. And I was like, can you wait till I finish a few more like years of school before we move? Because I know I'm gonna be in charge of this. And he was like, we really should make the move. So when we bought the house with the understanding of gutting it, that was my first project. I did the whole thing by myself. It had 3 different types of heating, antiquated plumbing and electric. It had plaster walls, not sheetrock. It needed everything redone. And it was a great space to work within. The house was huge. And it was awesome to be in charge of the project and pick everything, and I'm the only one making the decision, so it was great. We're gonna transition into the kitchen. And you'll see that we have a little bit of the Pierre Frey theme still. Come on over here. We have our chartreuse glass and marble backsplash, which is coming from the green that's in the leaves of the wallpaper that I showed you guys in the foyer. And then it also translates over here to our flavor paper, Brooklyn Toile custom wallpaper, made with a custom color from Benjamin Moore, which is the green from the wallpaper. And if you focus on the wallpaper, it's all scenes from Brooklyn. At first blush, it looks like a regular toile, but when you get close, you'll see the Brooklyn Bridge, Coney Island, the Hasidic Jewish person. You'll see moms with strollers. You'll see Notorious B.I.G. It's got some really cool Brooklyn flavor to it. And we like that because we moved to Manhasset from Brooklyn. And then this is the part of the house that everyone loves to see when it's not crowded and full of everything. It's our mudroom. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. Like I said, I have 4 kids. This is our mudroom, and they come in and ideally put their stuff here. Ideally being the operative term. We've been getting a lot of requests for people wanting to have like locker doors so that they don't have to look ugly when everything's packed in. And it actually makes sense. It's more of like a cabinet. I love a white kitchen. And before we moved to Manhasset, we had a white kitchen in Brooklyn, and we have a white kitchen in our beach house in Asheroken. So I thought, let me try something else. And I really liked the gray. And the painter came up with some colors. We tested them out, and she stained the cabinets on site, and we picked this washed out gray, which I love. These are Calicotta countertops, honed. What wound up happening is, just so you guys know, this is a great tip. They had an issue with the slab, so it was shorter than the island. So what we had to do was a double stack of the marble. So that's what we did in order to make it hang over the requisite amount, which is usually like anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And, you know, it wound up looking perfect, even though there was a little bit of a mistake. The lighting fixtures are from a company called Remains. They're awesome. You can customize the color. They have so many different finishes. I really just loved these. These were one of those things that I had been searching for in design school, loved them, and then kept them in my book of things that I'd like to do when I got my own home. So they made their way here. These are matching sconces. One of the lights is out. And these also match, just different sizes. This is so fun. So this is what they call a gantry faucet. It's like what you would have in a restaurant. It pulls down and you could shower off everything. And what's nice about it is it's super functional, and it's like such a cool piece to see. I love it. We use this particular product. It's from Waterstone. They're a company made out in California. And the people that own the company are architects. So it's a really cool piece of plumbing, and it's decorative. The kitchen's not wide enough to have an island where you can have seating. So we created this little space over here where you could sit off to the side. And also, interestingly, we took the backsplash that's the same as behind this range, and we made it all in the same color marble so that it wasn't too overwhelming, but we put it on all the sheetrocked spaces in the kitchen area. We have a cute little pop of the peacock blue in here when you close the Harmon hinge doors. And then we picked a fun wallpaper that had the peacock blue in it too, to put on the rest of the wall so that there was no sheetrock. And then we chose the floor, which has gotten a little scratched up since we got a puppy, because I thought this was so fun. It's also a painted black chevron floor, and I thought this was like a super fun color way to come off of the foyer, but to have in here with the gray cabinetry. I think it looks so good, and the juxtaposition of the dark with the light looks so good. This is one of my favorite pieces in the house. This is a freestanding cabinet that we had built. This was slated to be a butler's pantry when we originally made the design, but we decided to change the bar area and put it into this garden room over here. But I love the icebox hinge hardware, super fun, and like it makes it just such a statement piece. We get asked about it all the time, and I love it. So this is the breakfast room where we all pretty much eat most of the time. Again, if you take a look at the fabric that's on the window treatments, that is the fabric of the wallpaper. So the exact pattern, but now we have it on a fabric in here. We again have the peacock blue theme. Interestingly enough, we have this like fun, oversized crystal light fixture from Visual Comfort with the more modern Plattner table and the Eames molded plastic chairs, which are perfect for a family with children because you can wipe them off. I'm often asked about what my style is, and I will say the longer I've been a designer, the more I've sort of picked up more styles and trends that I actually really like I don't know that we necessarily have a style. What we have is a clientele, and the clientele gives us their vision and we execute it. So the idea is that when you look at our work, it all looks different because each client is different. And I would never want somebody to pay for something that someone else had. We're a high-end luxury interior design firm, and the intellectual property that we do for you is yours. We're not gonna then manufacture and keep doing that across the board for everybody else, because that's not what you're paying for. So if you ask me personally what my style is, I love what you would call eclectic, because I like mixing so many different things in a room without having it be like all modern or all traditional. I like mixing all different things because I think that shows off certain aspects of the design better. This room in here is really our family room. We call it the conservatory, but it's really our family room. We gather and watch television in here all the time. And this is the primary area. I want to say, like, this room, the breakfast room with kitchen, where people generally hang out. When we have company, this is typically where we are. If we have a lot of company, they'll spill over into the formal dining room and the parlor. But for the most part, people are in these spaces. And this room is interesting if you come in, because it fits so many people, it doesn't look like it does, but we have 2 chairs here. We have the divan where you can face either way. So people could sit on this side and be involved in this conversation. And then you have people that could sit on this side and be involved in this conversation. And over here, we just have a center table with 4 ottomans that pull out as stools. We have a cute little bench here and 2 more chairs. So in theory, with all of the seating, it fits like 22 people. It's a lot. And you wouldn't think that because it doesn't look cluttered or like it can fit that much, but it does. And then what's awesome is you could also open up the doors here, if I'm not locked in, and you're in the backyard. So that's like a really nice feature too. I wanted an indoor-outdoor flow, for sure. And I wanted the doors to swing out, because you'll see when we look at the before photographs, all the doors were added in, but we also added in the fireplace, which is right over here. We added in the bar area. So this came into the room and started taking up the width. So what I wound up doing was putting a sofa against the French doors, which I'm totally fine with, and they swing out. So we have the French doors over here with the sofa in front of it so that we have the perfect depth. And then we also have over here the French doors, which actually lead to the outside where we use. So those are openable. They just have the sofa in front of it. And I think it's better to have the seating, in my opinion, and it works for our family. To just tell you like a little fun fact, I don't like televisions. I'm not saying I don't like what they deliver, I just don't like looking at them. And I feel like my husband would have stapled the television on this brand new fireplace, and I would have been devastated. So we needed to find an alternative. And that's where the television lift comes in. Ceiling is interesting because it was made out of a CNC'd piece of 3-dimensional foam. So when they put the ceiling up, it was green foam, hard foam. And then when the painter was doing it, I said to her, make it look like plaster. So don't make it perfect. Just take like the plaster and make it look swirly. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a paint on the ceiling that has a little bit of a sheen to it so that it grasps all the imperfections and shows it off better. And she was recently over doing some touch-up work, and she said to me, you know, this has really grown on me, because everybody thought I was crazy. But I was like, this is just so different. Why does it have to be the same as what everybody else has? And I love it. I think it's fun. It's gonna stink when you don't want this anymore, because you're gonna have to sand it all down, but hopefully that's not my problem. So these fixtures are from Restoration Hardware, and I love that they're wrought iron and they have like the fun crystal in them. And they had to be a certain height, because this particular room went from that height over here is what the actual height of the room is. But the center and the end part actually are higher, 10 feet. And in order to make it symmetrical, what we did was we dropped down this part so that it kind of looked like this. And it gives the room a nicer look. I thought that going from low to high to the end just would look weird and not thoughtful. So these light fixtures are kind of fun because they have the black, which kind of resonates with the windows and the door outline of black. And then these center fixtures here, this center fixture here is from Neiman Weeks. And it's got, again, a relation with the crystal. It's kind of it's not very fancy. It's more rustic and great company because they'll customize any size and finish. So that was perfect for in here. And I feel like the other fun part about here is we try to use all manual canvas fabrics on the upholstery pieces because we really like manual canvas. It's a designer that is represented by Cowton and Tout. And like, I love all the florals. I love that there's like the two-tone. So this has a different outback than the inside of it. And this is kind of a fun thing you see from the outside. This also has a different back than the inside, which is more of a plain blue. Just to be fun. And we did it in the blues. Same with this is like a floral. It has like a fun floral embroidery fabric on it. So we thought that was fun to do a room that was just manual canvas. The pops of color in the pillows are actually a relation back to the wallpaper again. So we have the fuchsia, we have the orange, we have the chartreuse over here. So it's just reminding everybody of where we're coming from. And then this pillow on the bench over here has a combination of all the colors that is in the wallpaper. So the floor, we did a bluestone, which is what we have outside in the backyard as well. It has radiant heat. And it warms up so quickly because this has a lot of glass. So there tends to make it a little bit more colder than other parts of the house because of the glass exposure. But the floor we love, it's so rustic. And also the radiant heat really makes it cozy in here. One of the things I just want to point out is if you want to have different flooring, you absolutely should do that. It looks completely fine. I'm going to show you some areas in my house where we have it. This is a transition over here from the bluestone into the main flooring in the home, which is a chocolate brown, red oak. And then over here in the other entrance, we have it into the black lacquered floor. And if you come through quickly here, you'll see that we go back to the brown floor in the dining room. And then we hit the tile floor in the foyer. And the tile floor hits the brown floor on both sides, in the formal living room and in the dining room. And I think it looks perfectly fine. It gives the house, you chose different things for different areas of the house because it went with the design. And I have no problem with that. It looks perfect. When it comes to renovating, these are my tips. Everything should be the same age. So if you're gonna replace windows in some part of the house, you need to do it in the whole house because nobody wants to buy a house that has windows from 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So if you're gonna do a gut, I think you need to embark on everything that's part of the structure and foundation of the home, aging at the same time. So that means all of the systems new, all of the appliances new, the windows new, the hardware new, the doors new, whatever is going to be updated needs to be updated together. The other thing that I would say that I would splurge on is radiant heat because it really does heat the best. It is expensive, but for instance, I have it in this room and I have it in the primary bathrooms, but I didn't put it in the foyer, which I feel like was a miss. And I didn't put it in the basement, which I definitely feel like was a miss because the basement is tile and it tends to be a little colder than the rest of the house anyway. And I felt like in hindsight, it would have been better to have that for the heating purposes. And then the typical real estate recommendations are the kitchen is the most expensive room in the house, but it's also the one that people spend the most time in. And that can help you sell your home. Same with the primary bathroom. It's another one of the most expensive rooms, but it can help sell your home. And I feel like really investing in those places is smart. Appliances, tile decisions, in those types of places can really get you a great return on your investment. So this is the formal living room. And this again is much more subdued. It's more monochromatic, wherein the colors are more of like a taupey, gray, beige, again, so that you're not overstimulated coming from the fun foyer. So in here, it's like much more about the textures as opposed to the color. The ceiling is really cool. It is applied plaster. It's an English style ceiling, Adams-esque. The fireplace is really cool. This is from Chesney's and it's a Louis XVI fireplace. And I just have always loved Chesneys, and I wanted to have a Chesneys fireplace, and now I do. We don't use this fireplace, but it works because I just feel like then everything in here would be black from the soot of the fireplace. So it's just for show. So above the fireplace, I have my kids' footprints and handprint from when they were born. My 4 kids, all of them. And a mirror that just like reflects back the fun chandelier. This is another controversial design point. People think that you should only have a chandelier over a table, but no one's going in the living room going under here. So I love this chandelier. I think it's such a showpiece. It looks like jewelry to me, and I love it in this spot. It's perfect to me. These are really fun tables. They're fun because they're like pieces of jewelry actually in here, and you could pick the background fabric and whatever type of design and the size of it. And I feel like they're so pretty. And they're like art, but a functional table. Also over here we have campaign style tables, which are really awesome. These are from Alfonso Marina with the Nero Marquina marble, which goes back to the foyer. And I love this Larson fabric because I feel like it mimics the campaign X's, and I really liked that. An antique chair is my first antique purchase. You can't sit on them because I don't think they support people from the 21st century. And they're really tiny. If you look at them, like the depth of the chair is so small. And I thought it would be super fun to put a fun cravat fabric on them because the fabric's a little bit more contemporary with the antique chair. One other thing in here again is that we're trying to bring in the colors from the wallpaper. So we have little pops of the jewel colors throughout. This like washed out peacock blue Fortuny pillow is really fun, speaking to the peacock blue in the foyer, and then just some little throws around that bring back in the color. Here's the parlor, which is super fun. I'm taking, again, a little bit of leeway from the paper, and I've decided if I'm gonna have a custom sofa that's built to fit into the window, it's gonna be pink and not beige. So, ergo, the pink Chesterfield. That's really cool because it curves to fit the window, because again, in this room, you don't really have the depth. It's not a really deep room to fit seating. So really gaining that space from the window and having the sofa go back into there and come back out, you really get a lot of seating in here. Also a fun fact is, if you look behind here, we put the fun Philip Jeffries glass cloth in the fuchsia so that it would be fun when you closed the Harmon Hinge doors. Because you can totally close this off from the rest of the house. The mirrors I started collecting from various different places, Etsy, any place that eBay, and I painted some of them myself, and I thought it would be fun to decorate the walls with the mirrors. When the kids were little, they really loved it because they could come up and like see themselves in the mirrors. But I always thought this was just a fun way to use them. This is a fun room too because it's all made from Thibaut fabric. And the window treatment, they all come, they line up. It's just the Roman shade, and they come down, and they have this fun brush fringe from Samuel & Sons. And it's really just super fun. And again, totally relates back to the wallpaper. This is like the third living room. We can let our hair down a little bit and do something a little unorthodox. It doesn't need to be beige. And I was like, I love orange and I love pink, and it's in the wallpaper, and let me see where it goes, and I love it. It's just fun. This hides, guess what? The television, because we don't want to see it. So that's where the TV is. I love the light fixture because again, we don't have the tall ceilings. They're 8.5 feet. I love this fixture from Oli because I think it's oversized, which is perfect. And I just think it's fun, and it goes so well with the, the decoration in here. It's fun. This carpet in this room is broadloom, which means it's intended to be wall-to-wall carpet. Remember back in the day when we had wall-to-wall. But if you take the carpet and you have them serge it on site, what they can do is they can bump in and out of the space to make it look totally custom when it's really from the broadloom. And I feel like doing that little bump out really makes such a difference and makes it look so elevated. What's interesting is this is more of a kid's room. And I had a custom sofa made by JMP Upholstery, and it was a lot of money. But I get it reupholstered as opposed to throwing it out and buying a brand new one. And it's really can stand the test of time. Like, this is a piece of furniture that is just, it can handle a ton, and I spent a lot of money for it. So I just want to tell people that have children, you know, just because you have kids doesn't mean you can't have nice things. In fact, some of the nice things hold up much better than the cheap things. So you'd be surprised that the investment in something like a custom sofa could actually pay off better than buying one every other year when they stain it. So this is the powder room, and we liked to give it a little bit of an Art Deco feel. It's super tiny because it was from the house, the original house, and it's perfect. We have the black Nero Marquina, we have the water jetted tile from Nemo tile, and this is called Bardiglio, the gray. A nice Philip Jeffries, Schumacher, fun, like 1940s looking fabric with this Great Gatsby feel. And then we have a faux painted ceiling too, which is so fun. Tiny space with a big punch. So this is our home office, which I first started out as a designer in, and then I got an office in town. I loved the wallpaper. I thought it was so fun because it's like a deconstructed damask with gold flecks from the Designers Guild. I loved the silk for the window treatments. I thought it was beautiful. And then I love having a woven with a treatment over it. I think that always looks so elevated and so layered. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Herman Miller. They make a lot of office furniture. They do not like to do anything custom. So for Herman Miller to do a special leather on a chair, you have to send them a hide and pay for it. They test it, and then they tell you whether or not you can send them another hide to do the chair. So I took a chance, and my friend owns McCoy's Upholstery, and he mainly does upholstery for cars. And he took the demi cow hide from Edelman, which is metallic gold, and reupholstered the whole chair for me. And it's been handling the wear and tear perfect. We have some artwork, we have some pictures. So this is called the Art Connection Studio, and what this does is it helps people that are adults that have handicaps, autism, Down syndrome, and what they do is they create art and then you buy it from them. So we commissioned them to create a bunch of art from us, and I feel like it's such a great cause. Half of the proceeds go back to the individual artist, and the other half goes back to the studio so that they could buy more art supplies. And what we did was we had it framed in town by Jay Packer to give it like a little bit of an oomph, and I think they're so cute for the bookcases. We have an old vintage typewriter that I got at High Point, just because I thought that was super fun. A bunch of books, little artifacts, shells from trips, the museum bees, which are so fun. There's a company that takes old frames and rehabs them into these little decorative items, and they're called the museum bees. Super cute. And artifacts. This I love. It's a beautiful like onyx piece from Verona Privé. These are the same vendor, Tommy Mitchell, who did the tables in the living room. And they're just like beautiful metallic flowers colored, and you choose the back and they're in a lucite frame. So these just have cute little vases from Middle Kingdom. So fun. And just a little console to have it not just be like ending without anything. Also a fun feature of the room is the carpet. This is a hair on hide carpet by Kyle Bunting, and it's really awesome. You can choose the colors. There's so many to pick from, the design, and specify exactly where in the carpet you want which color to be where. So versatile, definitely can handle wear and tear, and I just think it's a welcome addition to any room. It's like a piece of art on the floor. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up my favorite part, which is the gold ceiling, of course. So it's a gold leaf ceiling. It's not real gold leaf because my painter convinced me that only I would know the difference, meaning personally, because you would never be able to tell the difference. She's like, we don't really need gold. So we just put the gold leaf, and I just think it adds like such an elevation to the room. It's really fun. And then like a quick peek, not that I should be in here more than I am lately, but here's our gym. So if you're at work and you need a little outlet, you can come right in here and do a little stair mill, Peloton, running. Now I'm gonna take you into my kids' bedrooms. So this is my youngest, Grace, and she loved pink and wanted to have a pink room. So we designed it with her thoughts in mind. We made her a custom beanbag out of this fun Pierre Frey fabric. We took a dresser that was on sale at Worlds Away, and I had it sent to the painter, and I changed out the hardware, and I basically changed it to 3 different tones of pink to make it fun. And then we bought the matching nightstand, but did the same thing. Everything in my kids' rooms have glass tops, and I would recommend that because they will ruin every surface of every piece of furniture unless it has a glass top. So that's one of my tricks. I put the glass on it. It's not a guarantee that they won't ruin it, but it's kind of taking like a little bit of a defensive tact against it. This I got from the Resplendent Crow. I loved the fact that it was like this deep, deep plum pink, and I loved the fun hardware on it, and I just thought it was such a pretty piece. She sells lacquered pieces, and this was a little desk that we built into the space because it has the window. Fun wallpaper by Quadrille. So the window treatment is from Alex Conroy. So fun. She's an amazing small fabric house, and they'll customize and do everything. She's great. Took the bed from Land of Nod and painted it because they didn't offer this color. And then just worked with the workroom, complete window, and took all different Romo fabrics and mix them in to get this like different color palette to bring in all the different pinks. I think it's so interesting because there's no one pink. I think the fact that there's so many different variations of the pink makes it so interesting. You don't usually see something like this. Everyone wants it to look uniform, but this has such a diverse color range that I think it makes it so fun. And this is so fun. I actually got this last year at the Kips Bay President's Dinner. Pookie was one of the sponsors, and they gave out their little cute lamps because they are battery-operated table lamps. So cute. And they had these beautiful shades to pick from. And it worked out perfectly when we decided to do Grace's room. This is made by a company called Amico. Again, it's a chargeable light. I just think they're so cute. They come in so many fun colors, and their product line is really fun. We have a lot of jelly cats. When Alyssa and I went to Maison Objet, we got this macaroon for her because that was the Paris edition, but she's obsessed with jelly cats. And now this is my son's room. He's 13, his name is Finn, and he is a Giants Knicks fan. And we recently did his room over, and he said to me, I just want to have it like a gaming room. So super easy. His bed used to be on this wall. We moved it around here so we could have his little gaming desk. Nightstand was there. And then the new thing is refrigerators. Like, the kitchen is literally 5 seconds away, but we need a refrigerator. It's fine. And this is his room. This is all restoration hardware, metallic zinc furniture. We tried to do something a little different again. He's got the desk, which he doesn't need anymore because now he sits at the gaming desk. Everyone should have a basketball hoop on their closet door. And, it's just a little boyish. So Finn and Grace's, everyone's room just got an overhaul. So we moved in here in 2015 and everyone just got an overhaul. So his room had this, I changed the colors, but yes, I thought this could be a teen room and it could be a fun guest room and it doesn't have to be a baby room. When they all moved here, they weren't babies. They were little, but they weren't like babies. Grace was the smallest, she was 2. So this nicely morphed into what he wanted. It wound up fitting by just turning the furniture. We also were intentional about making the window treatments a little bit boyish. So these are shutters so that it's not like a girl Roman shade. We wanted it to be a little bit more masculine. And I think it can absolutely grow with him. This is Catherine's room. She's 14. She wanted something very preppy, so that translates, I guess, in her age group to blue and gold. We did an overhaul. Her room used to be pink and chartreuse green, pink and lime green. So we have this really awesome grass cloth. So I feel like it's fun. It's not too juvenile. And then we have like a mix of all different fun patterns. John Robeshaw quilt. This is from Schumacher. And I just think it all works, all the different colored blues. This is so fun, the window seat. It's made of like an indoor-outdoor terry cloth because let's be real, like she's getting it stained and ruining it all. So this is, we love Rebecca Atwood. These pillows are from Rebecca Atwood and so is this fabric. They're awesome. She's a designer out of Brooklyn, does really cool things. She's a great artist. And the rug I like too because We're gonna skip that stain over there, but for the most part, if it gets a little stained, it kind of blends in a little bit. Like I said, the kids are like rough on all of their things. The bed is from Serena and Lily. And the chest that's over here is from Made Goods. And that's like a raffia, a navy blue raffia. When we did the renovation to the house, Katie lost a closet, so we could make you come through the hallway. So we did built-ins for her furniture and her closet. So this is my oldest daughter's room, Molly. She's 17, and we recently did hers over as well. And we have a fun quadrille wallpaper. I love the colors of like the aqua with the yellow pops. I just think that's so fun. And the periwinkle is also in there too, which is what this is. And I just think her room is really sweet. This is a John Robeshaw quilt also. This is a piece from Tebow. This piece and the nightstand are from Highland House. And they both have the glass tops to protect everything. Over here is her makeup area. And this is a custom desk. And we just picked the color to match what was going on in here. I really love the yellow and the aqua. The bed is custom. They'll make anything that you want. And I loved adding the little bit of the rattan in there. I thought it was really fun. So this is the entrance to the primary, I guess, suite is what they really had. The people had done the renovation before we bought the home, and they added this whole part of the house on. So downstairs where the office is, where the pink room is, that is an extension of the original home. So it ended with the living room. So that whole wing on the back is this second part up here. So you have the first part of it is our like living area. So it is a living room that we can sit in by ourselves. And what's interesting about this room is that, again, let me see if I can separate these. That's where the TV is, hidden, because we don't want to see it. I love the colors up here. I feel like it's really relaxing. It's like a very, very, very light, like lilac with the teal. And I just think it's fun. I love the carpet. I love everything about it. It's really relaxing and nice to be here. The bookcases are decorated with all different kinds of photos of the kids, candles, books, just different artifacts from different things. This is from Pam Jaccarino, and she was the editor-in-chief of Lux magazine, and she started doing paintings, and I love them from the minute that she had them on Instagram, and I purchased 2 of them. There's another one over here too. It's just so fun. So this is the dressing room. This used to be an indoor-outdoor room, so it was like almost like a weird like astroturfed room when we did the renovation, and we turned it into a dressing room. So the chandelier is made of resin. It's from Oli, and I just think it's like perfect in here. I love onyx, so we did an onyx top on top of here, and this is the little makeup vanity table, which we did the onyx top on also. It has, if you come on in, it has pocket doors that close. So these come out and they close off this room from the living area with a lock. I liked the mirrors because I felt like the room is not that big, and the mirrors give it that continuum effect where it just keeps going, and I like that. These I love. This is an artist called Stephen Wilson, and he designs embroidered pieces made from boxes of designers. That's one of his collections, and I just thought this was like perfect for the dressing room with all the different brands. What's like a fun feature of this house is that it came with 2 primary bathrooms. So this is mine. It's definitely like very feminine, because I feel like oftentimes when you find a master bathroom, it's kind of like a midway point, but in our house, because we had 2, we could do one super feminine and the other masculine, which was really fun. So this is kind of a cool space. This is blue Celeste marble, and it's from Nemo Tile. My friend Matt Carlin owns it, and he had these left over from a project, so he gave them to me. I love the blue marble. I love the wainscoting made out of the marble. This is also from Nemo, a water jet. And then I always struggle with tray ceilings because I feel like they don't look super traditional. And not that this house is super traditional, I just feel like they can sometimes take on a weird look. So I was trying to figure out a way to decorate them to hide it. And I feel like we did a good job with that in here. We have Venetian plaster on the ceiling. We have the quatrefoils. And then we also have like a cool design where we have the same tile design up here on the ceiling as we have on the floor. So it kind of like a Michelangelo effect, it mirrors it. The lighting fixtures are from Neiman Weeks. And again, they'll make the size to fit whatever you need and the finish. And I just think like it's a super like elegant bathroom. It's fun to get ready in here. And also we wanted to preserve in here the light. So Designer Draperies of Boston, again, we decided to do this little cafe curtain with the Roman up here so that it was private, but the light still filtered in because this bathroom has a lot of light and I wanted to keep that. These were just little stools that I thought were cute because, to be honest, the people that mainly took the baths when we bought this house was the kids. So I would be like this. Washing everybody. So that was for me. And I also thought it was a fun way to bring in the yellow because I feel like the yellow with the periwinkle goes so nicely. And it's such a nice pop of color. Also, if you come over here, I'll show you. The room is big enough that we actually have like a little settee in here too. And the shower, also super fun. It has lattice. This was done by the fabricator. They cut the tile to make it like this lattice look of Thassos and Blue Celeste. And you can see by all of my products, I'm definitely sharing this bathroom. Also, I think like an important design tip is I feel like in a primary bathroom, if you have the space, it's really important to hide this guy that no one wants to see, but we all need. So like having this person, this being hidden in the water closet is kind of nice. It makes the bathroom look so much prettier. And we had the fortune of getting the ceiling height, but again, my same conundrum with the tray ceiling, because I feel like oftentimes it just doesn't vibe with the design and it just looks, I don't know, like it just looks off-putting to me. So trimming it out with all the molding and coloring it the same color as the walls, I felt like made it feel a little bit more sophisticated for me. On this particular side, what we did was we did a decorative ceiling and we still put trim all over it and we painted part of it the same color as the walls, but then we did this white ceiling on top with the little gold motifs. This bedroom is it doesn't get a lot of light over here, so it's perfect for sleeping. This area is probably one of my favorites in the whole house, just because I love how it always looks and everything. This is a chinoiserie cabinet by Alfonso Marina. This is by Baker with a Clarence House velvet on it. And it's sitting atop a Kyle Bunting carpet, which I really love how it pulls out the burnt orange and all the different moody blues that are in there. And it's like its own little space. And yes, I do sit on this a lot. I just wanted to make it look really French, but fun. And like, I think more on the fancy side, and applying the molding and having it painted with the gold, having the 4-poster bed from Alfonso Marina with the black with the gold, and then taking it and having a French mantle from Chesney's put on the electric fireplace, well, the gas fireplace, sorry, the gas fireplace with the electric starter. I just felt like I liked it so much. I just felt like it was fun to be in here. This is a local artist. Her name is Eliza Geddes. And she is represented by the J. Mackey Gallery, and they have a location in Locust Valley and East Hampton. And I just thought it was super fun, and it was like totally going with the vibe that I was looking for. Fit perfectly in the space. This is another beautiful painting from the Art Connection studio in Connecticut. Again, half the proceeds go to them and half go back to the studio so that they can buy the things. But this is made by a person with a disability. I love it. It just makes me so happy when I come in my room. This, again, Kyle Bunting carpet. So fun. This is just a little ante room because it's before you get into the main closet and before his bathroom. And this is the other bathroom. So the intention behind here was to make it sort of industrial, very masculine, because we had both bathrooms to choose from. To make different designs. This is a light fixture from Visual Comfort, Ralph Lauren. What I wanted to do in here was have the shower be really fun, and I loved having the grates put on the shower because I felt like that looked really fun and industrial. His is a steam shower. He likes to steam. And I just feel like this goes really well with the industrial vibe. This is zinc wrapped furniture collection from Restoration Hardware with the 2 cabinets, and then this and the honed black absolute top. I just think it's really masculine. The tile on the floor is a 12 by 12 honed Carrara, which is actually really affordable. It is a marble, but it's a really great budget saver. It definitely is less expensive, and it is marble, so that makes it really nice. This is called Bardiglio, and what Bardiglio is actually the veining in this marble here. So it's Bardiglio, again, honed in the gray, because I like the whole idea of the grays in here. This is a fun stainless steel tile from Ann Sachs that I thought was cute. It's like a little bath mat. And we also have the shutters that we have in Finn's room in here, a little bit more masculine. A bathtub for the kids, which recently we talked about making this a plunge tub. I'm not really sure how to do that, but I have to research converting this into a cold plunge. What I love most about our home, I would say, is my backyard. I feel like it's a beautiful space. It covers so many areas for all different age groups. We have a playground for when my kids were little. They're probably aging out of it. We have a trampoline, which everyone still uses. We have a pool, and we built a pool house with an outdoor kitchen that we use a lot, and we really like it. During COVID, it was amazing because it was a separate space to be, not in the main house. We could shower out there, watch television, relax. It was awesome. And I feel like still when I'm in my backyard, I love it so much. And I think it's a really, really cool part of the house. So now I'm gonna take you outside. So typically this is outfitted with 2 large rectangular tables and chairs, because this is where we hang out. If we have an event, we tent it, which is really cool just to protect everybody from the elements. I really love the gas lanterns. I feel like that reminds me of Brooklyn Heights, and we wanted to incorporate that here in Manhasset. And then we can take a walk over to where the pool house is. So this was something I built that was not here. We had a pool that was here that was oval shaped, and when we turned it on for the first time, it leaked into the street. So the pool needed to be redone. So we took a break from construction, and we did it about 1.5 years after we finished the house. So come on into the pool house. So this is the pool house. It's fun because you can watch everybody in the pool from in here. This is an accordion door that opens and goes all the way back, so you have a complete open with a Q deck, which just means that it's flush to walk from inside to outside. Inside the pool house, we have all indoor-outdoor furniture. So this is a custom sectional by George Smith, made to be outside, but it looks like indoor furniture. It has a Holly Hunt fabric on it. That's indoor-outdoor also. But the idea is that this can drain all the water, if you had it outside, would just drain through it. So this is super fun. We had this custom made to fit the space. This is also a chair from George Smith with a Pierre Frey indoor-outdoor fabric on it. Again, you can sit on it, get it wet, whatever. This is where we keep games and stuff, maybe some alcohol when we're entertaining. And then we have the bathroom, and we did this custom barn door made out of walnut, which closes over and it can be locked from the inside. And then here's our shower bathroom. It's just shiplap with fun Ann Sachs ceramic tile and a fun Restoration Hardware vanity, Restoration Hardware lighting and mirror. We wanted to take reclaimed beams from barns, so we purchased those and then laid them out as a coffer. So these are all old reclaimed barn wood. Then we had the painter, who's awesome, Kristen Taylor Painting. She faux painted all of the flanges for the hi-hats so they match in with the wood. So pretty. It's a lot of fun. And then I just thought this was super fun too, because it's a little bit more fancy, but it's like kind of fun to have that juxtaposition of the rock crystal. This is a Thomas O'Brien chandelier for visual comfort. And then we have fireplace. We have a fireplace outside and inside that share the chimney. So we have, obviously it's winter still, but we have an outdoor fireplace that we light also in the summer. It's super fun out into the fall. We have this covered pergola area that lights up, has music in it. We have seating here. And then we have bar stools that sit alongside the bar where we have refrigeration, ice maker, big, huge barbecue, and we hang out here a lot. And it's like a great entertainment space, and we have a television. I feel like home is your memory maker. So I feel like it's a place where people come to live their lives, enjoy family, and make special memories about their life, where they can reflect and look back on and feel so excited about a particular room. It conjures times of a holiday or having a certain event at your home. And I think, to me, I feel like it's where people make their memories. And I felt like COVID time really solidified that when we were all stuck there. And it should make you happy because you spend so much time here. And that's where we come in.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Bonnie. Welcome to my home in Nashville. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Morgan. I'm a micro-influencer. You may have seen me on social media as Shop with Bon, and I also work in local advertising. So we are in Nashville, Tennessee, in my home. I would say that my house is colorful, it's playful, a little bit eclectic. You may say maximalist, but I just love to collect and curate pieces and put things that I love together. I have lived in this home for about a year now. I will be moving soon, but I've been collecting the pieces that I've had in the past homes that I've had for the past about 5 to 6 years, just over time curating and collecting things. I picked this location because I wanted to live in West End. I live right near Vanderbilt. My backyard is quite literally the practice field for the football team. So I wanted to kind of be in the hustle and bustle of things right outside of downtown. Welcome to the kitchen. This is my favorite room of the house. I love this breakfast nook. I just recently got it, and it's awesome because it has storage. So in these, you can lift them up, place stuff in here. So if you're in a smaller space, it's really great. Pretty much everything you'll see throughout my house, a lot of the art I've made. So I made this painting. It says, "I don't cook, but I like to stir the pot." I thought that was fun. A lot of the pieces that I have, like I've said before, I've thrifted. So these chairs are from Facebook Marketplace. This table is CB2, also from Facebook Marketplace. I love to haggle and find stuff on Marketplace. It's always great to look in your area or nearby. A lot of the other things, this I did get when I was in Italy recently, but I mean, these are from Ross. I think these napkins were from Ross, and placemats from Amazon. So everything throughout my home is super budget friendly. I love mixing patterns. I thrifted these frames and put art in them. It's just, super fun to add a bunch of things together that you love, and I'm always down for doing it yourself. Another one of my favorite pieces in my home is this. I actually got this for free. I found it on the side of the road, and I left it, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it and went back, and it was still there, so it was meant to be. This is a TV cabinet. We use it as a bar though, so when you open it up, you'll see we have lots of bar items in here, and it's great for hosting and entertaining. Throughout the rest of it, I just keep some extra dishes and things like that. When I first toured and I knew we were gonna move here, this is a smaller space, so I was thinking, what am I gonna do with it? I had just picked this up, so I knew it needed to fit somewhere. When we first came in, I tried to put it against this wall. It didn't work. We had a larger table, so it kind of took time. And honestly, with everything that I have throughout my house, we started out with, a different table and chairs, and then in time, got this one, which fits perfectly, and this bench, which I know will fit in future homes. So I've really tried to use what I had at first, and then in time, get new things and replace stuff. So this piece of art that I made, I love creating things. I make recipe cards as well and sell them. I do room stylings online, so I'm always doing creative projects and kind of artistic, crafty things. I took a spray painting class when I was in high school, and I've always loved more modern art. So I love mixing some of my more traditional furniture pieces with modern art, and this is kind of an example of that. It's graffiti, it's funky, it's colorful. It really brightens up this space, and having these oriental swans next to it, kind of the mix match of it all is what I love. It's funky, it's unique, and throughout my home you'll see a lot of the pieces I have are mix match. Like I have bamboo and cheetah print, and I like a lot of kitschy fun sayings, like this plate says, "Please no dancing on the tables." This says, "I don't cook, but I like to stir the pot." So I love fun sayings, and you'll see more of those throughout the home. So I knew I wanted a nook bench. At first I had a larger table. I think it was a large black table with 6 chairs. So once I got this round table, I had been on the hunt trying to find one. I looked on Marketplace, I looked at Home Goods, I looked everywhere I could think of for weeks. When I found this on Amazon, I knew it was the perfect one for me. It looks like a built-in, it has storage, it's under $400, so it's a very affordable option. And I think the weight limit was higher than some of the other options. So it's just better quality, it's solid wood. It was pretty easy to put together. It's just a really great option if you're looking for a built-in, but at the lower price point. All right, now I'll take you to our half bath. Follow me. Welcome to the downstairs half bath. When I first moved in, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love the wallpaper. It is a paisley, deeper red kind of pattern that I wouldn't have picked myself, but I knew I wanted to make it work. So I kind of went with a Ralph Lauren inspired theme. I have this vintage tennis racket, and then I picked out, these were on sale at Joann Fabrics. They are scalloped in blue, red, and white stripes, so kind of going with the blue and red theme that I went with in this bathroom. I made this piece of art. It says Nashville or nowhere. I painted it on a bandana, and kind of back to my testament of a lot of the things in art in this house are just things that I've made. I loved it, so I wanted to frame it. I added in some fake flowers, have some blue and white pieces in here, and I think all in all together, the wallpaper works, and it made it, I think, as cute and fun as it's gonna be. So, and it's fun. It kind of came together and seems intentional. So that was kind of the hope, to kind of blend it together and make it fun. I would say my design style is unique in the sense that it's a little bit of everything. Throughout my home, you'll see I have traditional pieces, modern pieces, I have graffiti art, I have chinoiserie. It's very much maximalist and colorful and playful. I would say my favorite space in my home is probably the kitchen, more or less my dining nook. I love to cook, I love to have friends over and host, so any opportunity that I can. We love having people over if we're making mocktails or cocktails or cooking dinner, and I love entertaining. Now let's head into the living room. Welcome to the living room. You won't believe it, but a year ago, none of this existed and was here, other than maybe 1 or 2 small items and some decorative pieces. But yeah, so all of this has been added. I've moved the couch around a bunch. I posted on TikTok, and a ton of people helped me figure out which way to, set it up. So I ended up with it like this, breaking up the room, giving a little entry. This is not a huge living space, but somehow, some way I have fit all of this furniture in here, which is great. So again, a lot of the pieces are Facebook Marketplace thrifted items. So found this at Facebook Marketplace, and originally the idea was I was gonna burlwood it, cover it with contact paper and make it look like a burlwood piece, but I've honestly fallen in love with the dark wood, so we left it. I found this from Home Goods, and it's giving Serena and Lily kinda, so I loved that. This book, I found this in the Goodwill bins. It's in pristine condition. It's beautiful. So yeah, a lot of these pieces just kind of came together. I put this mirror in this frame. I found these recently at Ross. You wouldn't believe it. Both of them were only $50, so that's great. I just put these, I think they're a peony tulip blend flower in them. They're fun and droopy and a little different. So like I said, I love mixing the more traditional pieces and then having some modern touches to them. This Jonathan Adler jar is probably my favorite thing I've ever thrifted. When I found that at the Goodwill bins, I couldn't believe it. That was a few years ago in Charlotte. The Charlotte Goodwills just have the best stuff. So yeah, so everything has just kind of come together and mixed and matched, and it's been super fun. I found these chairs. I have another one that I use as my desk chair, and I decided to keep them even though I really had no place for them in this house, but I loved them. I was deciding between them and the bistro chairs in my kitchen. So, you know, I just have to find a home for things if you want to keep them, and then eventually when I get into a bigger space, I'll have a better place for them. So coming into my living area, another piece that's really fun that I got for free was this side table. I found it on a corner in Charlotte, North Carolina when I lived there, and I picked it up. I changed out the hardware, and you know, it's a great little end table. I put some books in it. I've decorated it. This is a piece of my art that I made. I sell all my prints on Etsy. So like I said, throughout my home, I have a lot of my art, and I just love making stuff myself. It's kind of Nashville inspired with the horses. This couch, I was on the hunt for the perfect couch when I moved in here. I really just wanted a little white slipcover couch, but I knew I needed something bigger. You know, we talked about getting a corner couch, a sectional, and I found this one for sale. I think it was like $500 from Wayfair. It's slipcovered, it's huge, it's really great, it's comfortable to sleep on. And so yeah, it's been great. So like I said, when I moved in here, we did not have all this furniture, so I've just kind of found and added things over time. Another fun piece, this actually is a crate. One of our friends ordered a life-size Iron Man suit that is custom fitted to his body, and it came in this crate. So when he was trying to throw it away, I said, no, let me keep it, and I made it into a trunk, and it's great. It has a ton of storage, again, for smaller spaces, and it was free. So super fun project, kind of making this into a trunk. And then, you know, coffee table books. One of my favorite things is this book. I found it from Sadie Loving. She posted it. She is a micro-influencer that lives in Charleston, and it's on Amazon. It's really affordable and it's super cute. Another fun piece of art of mine is this. I actually have, it's the same saying on both here and on my bar cart. Like I said, I love fun, kitschy sayings, and kind of touching on this bar cart, it probably needs a fresh coat of paint. I've had it since college. It was I think a tea cart. It was a dark brown wooden color. It was scratched. You know, it needed to be refinished. It had a tray on top of it, and so I painted it. I've had it in all of my college houses and my post-grad apartments, and now I'm trying to find a space to keep it in my home because, you know, it's kind of sentimental at this point. So yeah, and then this rug I have had and loved. I actually had in a previous apartment a huge closet, and so it was the rug that fit perfectly in the walk-in closet, and I refused to get rid of it. I knew I wanted to make it work. It's not big enough for a bedroom, and it was perfect for this space. I found it on Facebook Marketplace as well, and I just absolutely love it. It's another piece that I've had through several phases of my life, and so it's never going anywhere, and I'll have it, I think, in every home. Hopefully, again, in a huge closet, it'll fit again one day. This red buffet, I found and loved it on Facebook Marketplace. I knew I needed something taller for our TV to sit on with just the way that this room lays, and with this lovely crate coffee table I made, it's taller. So I needed something taller. I was having trouble, and when I came across this buffet, I thought this is perfect. Again, it's great added storage for us. I love that it's red. It's a fun pop of color. I really wanted to mix, like I said, modern and traditional and color into this home. And so I loved that this traditional buffet that's red, you know, it's just a fun pop for the room. And we've loved this piece. So I saw this table and it was on sale for half off at Home Goods. I loved that it's covered and it's textured. The shape of it I knew would be perfect to put two, you know, stools under it. And so when I got this, I think it's technically a desk, it just fit perfectly in this space. I added, you know, some art. Again, I think this came from a magazine and I layered it with fabric and then I painted it green, just kind of, you know, made it myself. This lamp was from Goodwill and then I just added a shade onto it and, you know, painted it white. This was in the dollar section at Target. It needs to be repainted, but until I could find the perfect champagne bucket, either silver or gold, I wanted something here in that space, and so I just spray painted it. So I've just kind of, you know, added things and DIY'd stuff until I can eventually replace it, you know, items. And so, yeah, it's just fun. As I love to thrift, but I also love finding furniture on the side of the road. Whenever we walk through, I'll kind of share some pieces that I found for free, which sometimes shocks people, but you know, just when you're driving and people are getting rid of things, what is it that people say? One person's trash is another person's treasure. So sometimes it's fun to just pick things up and rework them. That's something I love, is, you know, a DIY project. I love going to Goodwill. I love shopping at Ross. I post a lot about shopping at Ross and TJ Maxx and budget shopping on social media too. So I would say my design tip would just be, if you like something, even if you think they don't go together, they probably do. Just put things together that you love, they'll all blend, and don't be afraid to attempt a DIY. Sometimes you can make it yourself before you have to go and buy it, and that's always fun. All right, now let's head upstairs and let's look at the rest of the house. Before we look at the upstairs bedrooms, this project that I did on my staircase is really fun. These are all pictures from trips that I or Joe have taken. So we wanted to add in things, trips we've been on together, trips we took before we met each other. It's just really a reflection of our lives. And as we move and as we keep taking trips and traveling, we plan to add on to these. And so, yeah, super fun. I mean, some of these are from friends' weddings we've been to, or the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, just different trips and experiences. This is the primary bedroom, probably my second favorite room of our house. It took a lot of time to come together and get everything together, but another free piece of furniture, I found this, I think on the side of the road here in Nashville. When I first moved here, I didn't have much furniture, so I needed a dresser. I got this, I painted it. I need to repaint it again. Same with my nightstands. They're actually two children's dressers, and I love them because they have a ton of storage. So great for smaller spaces. It's actually a really great nightstand kind of hack to get children's dressers instead of a traditional nightstand. Another fun thing, this piece of art, it looks similar to the print downstairs with the horses because it is. This I painted, and again, just kind of mixing different colorful and different elements of design. So this is a traditional kind of Greek key border, and then I have some colorful horses reflective of Nashville with the kind of equestrian horses. So yeah, so just fun. I've been adding things over time. I loved these tiger pillows. I've been looking and ordered a few different ones until I found the right print. I think this kind of print of tiger is usually very expensive, but I found these on Amazon, super affordable, really love them. And yeah, just kind of mixing and matching things and added things over time as I found them. As you walk through the Jack and Jill bathroom, you'll come to the second bedroom, which is our guest bedroom. In this secondary guest bedroom, we use it as a dual space. So both a guest bed and then both my desk and Joe's desks are in here. I use my desk more for fun projects like sewing or crafting or collaging. Like this fun piece of art that I put together. It's from wrapping paper from Christmas gifts I received that I loved and saved. Like I said, I'm always crafting and doing fun projects. So that's kind of my craft desk. And then we have a more functional desk. And then also in this room is one of my 3 closets. So throughout the house, I do have 3 closets. I have a lot of clothes. I keep most all of my accessories and jewelry and kind of fun clothes and shoes in here. So that's kind of been the function of this room. So in the reality of living with a man, I wanted to kind of spruce up this more masculine space. So this is a great functional desk. If either of us are working from home, we can work here or do other activities that guys like to do, such as playing games. But I tried to spruce it up. So this print is really fun. This is, you know, more masculine with the ducks. And then I added in these 2 that I made myself. I printed both of these. I think I made the fish or the sardines one in Canva. And then I just painted the striped backgrounds, and it kind of all comes together, and you know, it's a functional space for us. So one of my friends actually gave me this rug, as you saw downstairs. I love an animal print or, you know, animal shape rug. So I really wanted to tie in these colors. Again, I wanted kind of a more traditional Ralph Lauren inspired theme, which is where I got this piece of art, and I've absolutely loved it. I found it at Habitat for Humanity, and I just painted the frame gold. So it's very, you know, traditional New England kind of looking. And then I just wanted to go with a crisp white bedding and do some fun patterns. So I love the beach, and I have these palm tree sheets that I absolutely love. I added some stripes and some houndstooth. These are Ralph Lauren pillows. I just really wanted it to be kind of fun and traditional. You'll see the blue and white lamps. So I kind of wanted to tie all that in together. This is a minky blanket. They have the best blankets. It's so soft and fluffy, kind of that pop of brown. So you'll see in the room, there's colors and pops of color everywhere, but also it's a little more masculine and traditional. So a lot of the stuff you'll see in my home are things I've made. I've kind of talked about, like this pillow. I loved the fabric, and I didn't measure anything. I just kind of sewed it, and I put a pillow in it, and it worked. So I don't always follow instructions. Sometimes I just make stuff. That's part of my creative brain, but I love doing it myself. I love finding inspiration from Pinterest. If I see something in my bathroom, I knew I wanted a matching shower curtain. I wanted trim around it. I figured out how to, you know, do that myself instead of spending the money on Etsy to buy something that had the trim sewn on. If it's fabric glue or learning how to sew or whatever you're capable of doing, there's always an option to kind of do it yourself. So I try to look at things from that angle when I find things on Pinterest that I love. And I think, could I make this myself? You know, could I try and replicate something similar? I save things. I allow myself to be inspired by the other art that I see and try and not copy, but, you know, take the inspiration and make it my own. So yeah, I love doing stuff myself and being creative. It's a great outlet. The meaning of home for me has changed over the years. It definitely is who you're with and not where you are. Of course, I love all of my things, but at the end of the day, home is your family, your friends, your loved ones, and you know, you can build a home even if you move somewhere new, which is what I did. I'm originally from North Carolina, so I moved to Nashville and built a community around me and collected and curated more things and items around me too. So you know, building your home and building your community. Well, Homeworthy, it's been great, but I have another DIY project to get to. I'll see you later.